By Celestine Donko, a very amazing song. Thank you so much for that. And yes, good morning to you, our cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Yaira Awuno. We are coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV. You can also catch us on GoTV channel 184. And if you're not in the comfort of your home, you can join us via social media on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for Clock TV GH, like, share, and subscribe, and then join in the live stream. Share your comments to our WhatsApp number that will be displayed onto your screens and also to the live stream, and we'll read them here. When the phone lines are, I'll do well to alert us so we can call and weigh in on some of the conversations. Now, here's what to expect on the morning show for today. As on the online and print segments, we're going to be talking about very serious issues, some issues of child trafficking, some issues concerning the health sector as well. And I'll be doing that with my co-host, Peter Nsia. Then also on the lifestyle segment, it's a very interesting topic. It's something that a lot of us or a lot of the youth will be interested in. So please do stay tuned for that, as we're going to be talking about unspoken expectations, before marriage. And I know marriage is a topic everybody is very interested in. So yes, please do well to call a friend, text a friend to join in the conversation there. Now let's prepare to be motivated for this morning. As we are aware, February is the month of love, and this week is the Valentine's week, and our motivational quote is definitely on something related to love, and this is by Bell Hooks. And Bell Hooks says, love is a combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust. Love is a combination of care, commitment, knowledge, responsibility, respect, and trust. Now, Bell Hooks just reframes love as an active, ethical practice rather than a fleeting emotion. In her view, love is something we do, not just something we feel. Care is the willingness to nurture another person's growth and well-being. Commitment is a decision to remain present and invested even when the love demands patience, sacrifice, or discomfort. Knowledge asks us to truly see the other person, to understand their history, needs, fears, and desires, rather than projecting our own expectations onto them. Now, the responsibility means recognizing that love carries consequences. Our words, our silences, and our choices shape the emotional safety of those we claim to love. Now, respect reaffirms the other person's autonomy and worth, allowing them to fully be themselves, and this is going to be without control or domination. Trust finally creates the foundation that makes all the other elements possible. It is the assurance that vulnerability will be met with honesty and care, not betrayal. Together, these elements challenge the idea of love as a mere passion or attachment, but rather, Bell is also reminding us that love is sustained through consistent, intentional actions, choices made daily, to show up with integrity, compassion, and accountability. In this sense, love becomes not just a feeling, but a disciplined practice rooted in mutual growth and genuine connection. So this is to tell us that love is not just, telling one person or the other that you love them, but rather taking the time to care for them, showing them that you're committed and actually being committed, taking the time to also know them and truly see them for who they are, and the responsibility of actually, loving them for who they are, being present in the time as well, and trusting them also, trusting yourself with them and helping each other grow in the love. So it's not just about the passion, but there's a lot more work to be done when it comes to loving one another. And this is something that, as the month of love is here, everything is going to be more about love in this month here on Clock TV. So we'll be learning more about love, how to grow, how to, love one another in the right ways, and also break, some of the misconceptions that we may have about love. But enough said about love. It's time for the weather forecast with Peter Nsia. Good morning.
Good morning, Aya.
I hope you're well.
I'm doing well. I hope you're well too.
I'm great. So, month of love. The Harmattan this morning has started reminding me of a few things. What should we expect?
Today, let's get to find out as the map is being displayed.
Right. Okay. So you give us all the details.
All the details.
So should we expect more of the cold or it's going to be a mix?
This morning it's mostly cold, and then in the afternoon it's going to be a bit hot, and then in the evening
it will be cold again.
Yes.
So, okay, well,
yeah,
that's cool.
Balance.
We'll take it. It's a good balance. Yeah. So I'll leave you to that. And right after the weather forecast, we will be back for the online and print review.
Hello there, good morning to you and welcome. It's time for the weather forecast. What you can see on your screen right now is the 24-hour impact base for Ghana. And this is from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. This to tell us how the weather is going to be like in Ghana. So let me begin with the southern sector. Today, the southern sector, this early morning, the southern sector is expected to experience cloudy weather with some showers expected in the coastal and forest area of the southern sector. So the people at Axim and its environs are expected. There's a 30% possibility of showers this morning for the people in the southern sector, specifically the coastal and forest area. And then throughout the forecast this afternoon, we are going to experience some, sunny condition in the southern parts of Ghana. And as the day progresses, the southern sector should expect some localized thunderstorm or rain, and the northern sector remains dry and hazy. And so basically today the sea is rough. And so as I've been saying, those of you carrying up your duties or activities on the sea should take note, because the sea is not going to be friendly at all. So let's take a look at the specifics and see whether it is going to rain in certain parts of the country. Right, so when you take a look at Aflao and Accra this morning, it's misty, and they are experiencing patches of fog and misty. And so, as usual, drivers are advised to use their headlight and also drive with care. And now this morning, Cape Coast and Takoradi, as I stated earlier, there is a 30% of rain or showers at Cape Coast and Takoradi. And then throughout the forecast today, the weather this morning is cold. The weather this morning is very cold. And so from Cape Coast to Takoradi, in the afternoon, they should also, for Cape Coast, should expect sunny intervals. But still at Takoradi, they should expect some localized thunderstorm or rain. And then throughout the afternoon, throughout the whole forecast, it is going to be very hot, with temperature ranging from 34 degrees Celsius to 39 degrees Celsius. And then in the evening, for the people of Aflao, Accra, Kaswa, Cape Coast, they should expect that the weather will be partly cloudy. And then throughout the forecast too, in the evening, the weather is going to be cold, except the northern sector. The northern sector this morning, Tamale, Damango, Bolgatanga, Nereguwa. This morning, the weather is slightly hazy with a cold temperature. And then as the day progresses into the afternoon, they should expect dry and slightly hazy weather with a very hot weather at 39 degrees Celsius. And so the people within that area should take note and should reduce their exposure to the sun. If you are going out, make sure that you wear something that would, prevent the sun from directly scorching you, and they should take in more water. The evening is the same weather, fairly dry and slightly hazy condition with a cold weather. So the afternoon or the evening is going to be cold. And so basically that is all for today. But before I go, Koforidia, Akemoda, Kumasi, Obuasi, and Takwa, this afternoon there's a possibility of localization. You expect localized thunderstorm with the possibility of about 30%. So it means that it might rain this afternoon at Koforidia, Akemoda, Kumasi, Obuasi, Takwa, Sefhibekwai, Ketekrachi. This afternoon, so they should expect rain. And then in the evening too, for Koforidia and Akemoda, they should still expect localized thunderstorm or rain as well, with the weather very cool. Basically, this is all I have for you today on the weather forecast. Thank you for staying with us. Don't go anywhere. Up next is the online and paper print review. Stay with us.
You're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show, and if you're just tuning in, it's time for our online and print review. I have my co-host here with me, Peter Nsian, who gave us the weather forecast earlier. So we're going to get into the trending stories and issues around us. If you have anything you would like to share with us, you can send the comments to the WhatsApp number that will be displayed onto your screens or to the YouTube or Facebook live stream. And then also, when the phone lines are opened, I will alert you so that you can call and weigh in on some of the conversations. Good morning, Peter, once again.
Good morning, Yaya.
I hope you're well.
Up and grateful, divine selection. I hope you're doing well too. I like your dress this morning. You're looking.
I'm preparing for Valentine's.
Great, interesting.
I remember you said you would buy chocolates for the ladies here. Yeah. So I'm just reminding you.
Don't worry, it will come.
Right, so let's get into the conversation. What's happening? What have you picked up over the weekend? How was the weekend?
I mean, my weekend was good, especially when I know
the risk
that,
analysis.
Yes. I know that by Saturday, Friday, there will be an interesting thing happening in Ghana. That's the Vows Day. So throughout the weekend, I was preparing for the Vows Day celebration.
I see.
Unfortunately, I don't have anyone to go out with, so I'm still searching. So that even took away much of my time. So I was searching. For that.
So the single ladies, Peter is available. Just contact me and I'll do the links for you. So before we get into the, issues, let's get our word for the day. Our word for today is unfeigned. Unfeigned, which means genuine and sincere affection. So Peter, what does unfeigned mean to you?
Like you rightly said, it means something real, something not fake. It means you're not pretending. I mean, it's real, it's genuine. Yes, and so that's what we are asking, that all the ladies and gentlemen who are into relationship, it should be a genuine one.
Yeah.
They shouldn't fake it, especially coming this Saturday. That's where I've heard that a lot of people are fighting because they don't have what it takes to actually surprise them.
They can't buy the money, they can't do the money bouquet.
But at least without money, without gifts and all that, you can still profess your love. Genuine one, as we are talking about. Not
but
fake,
you know they say he ain't done
but if he doesn't have now, maybe years to come. Yes.
Okay, right. So now let's get an extended definition. So unfeigned describes feelings or actions that are real, honest, and not pretended. When affection is unfeigned, it becomes a place of truth, and it is also free from performance, manipulation, or hidden motives. It is expressed naturally without exaggerations or deceit. So the synonyms for this word unfeigned, we have genuine, sincere, heartfelt, authentic, candid, true, wholehearted, and earnest. Now, the words that are opposite in meaning are feigned, pretended, insincere, artificial, false, affected, and disingenuous. And like Peter also said, fake. So if something is unfeigned, it is genuine. If it is feigned, then it is fake or insincere or false or artificial. So unfeigned affection doesn't need to announce itself. It is felt in consistency, honesty, and quiet reliability. So that's the word for today, unfeigned. And like I said earlier, a lot of the elements of our shows in this month are going to be, centered around love. So yes, unfeigned love means true and genuine love. Now let's get into the trends for today. What have you picked up over the weekend and even during the week?
Yes, so over the weekend and during the week, like you said, a lot transpired.
Okay.
But I was able to pick two trending stories. So I'd like to begin with, the OSP is trending, the president is trending, the National Democratic Congress, the party is trending, the NPP too is trending. And like I said, OSP, it's all about the just ended primaries. That's the Ayawasu East primaries and the NPP's internal presidential primaries. A whole lot transpired, and with the just ended one with the Ayawasu East, Baba Jamal, who emerged as the winner of the primaries. A whole lot is going on. There's been an allegation of vote buying and vote selling. And because of that, the president responded quickly by recalling Baba Jama's position. He was the High Commissioner to Nigeria, like he representing Ghana at Nigeria. So because of the allegation of vote buying and vote selling, the president immediately ordered that he put an end to whatever services renting to the country. And then the majority caucus in Parliament, the NDC side, they also spoke during the incident. And there's been a committee to probe into the matter. And the OSP too is also actually probing into the matter. Not just the NDC's parliamentary primaries, but also the MPP internal presidential primaries as well, that there were some allegations of vote buying and what have you. And people are asking why the president was in haste to actually ask Baba Jama to, put down his tools and all that. It's basically because of the code of conduct. When he assumed office in 2025, he gave out some code of conduct for his appointees. That once you go contrary to that, he's not going to spare you. And so vote buying in a way contradicts what the president expects of his appointees. And that is the main reason why he did that. And then there's been a section of people, the majority caucus, calling for the annulment of the election results, which in my opinion, I think that we should allow the law to work, since we have about 2 committees that have been set up to probe into the matter to find out. Remember, these are allegations. These are allegations that they are probing into the matter. So I think that they should allow the committee to come up with their response to whether indeed there was vote buying or vote selling, and if Baba Jama is guilty of what actually is being leveled against him before any action can be taken. A whole lot of people are also questioning the OSP's intervention, that looking at the time the MPP conducted its internal presidential primaries, and the time the NDC also conducted it. If the OSP had any intention to actually probe into what actually transpired, as it was alleged that they were vote buying, he could have done it long before. Why did he wait for the NDC's era or NDC's time before saying that he's probing into the two? And a whole lot of people do not actually agree with the OSP, and they are calling that the OSP's activity should be founded. He should be, intentional about certain things. He shouldn't do things that will call for, partisan aspect of it. That people are calling for partisan because of the timing. And so, like I said earlier, I am thinking that all other stakeholders, including the majority caucus in Parliament, the NDC, and what have you, should wait for the results from the committee that has been set up to probe into the matter. And the most interesting aspect is that the OSP also said that, Baba Jaba also actually hired people to assault somebody who was sent from the office of the OSP to check
That's a serious
allegation. A very serious one. And so I have with me the statement released by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. So the Office of the Special Prosecutor has commenced investigation in respect of the New Patriotic Party presidential primaries conducted on 31st January 2026. On 7th February 2026, the OSP commenced real-time investigation in respect of the National Democratic Congress parliamentary primaries at the Ayawaso East constituency. The investigations focus on allegations of vote buying, vote selling, and the sources of funding of the alleged corrupt acts. During the conduct of the NDC parliamentary primaries at the Ayawaso East constituency on 7th February 2026, one of the candidates, Mohammed Baba Jama Ahmed, allegedly abetted attacks to physically attack an officer of the OSP who was serving an investigative directive for him in relation to vote buying and vote selling. Consequently, the OSP has opened further investigation into the assault of an authorized officer of the OSP in performance of his function in relation to Mohammed Baba Jamal Ahmed. And that is the aspect I want to. So there's an investigation ongoing about that assault as well.
Right.
Because it's an allegation, we can't talk much about it.
But
should it be true, it means it is a criminal act because the investigation was lawful. The investigation was lawful. And so a whole lot of people are also saying that if the person sent on behalf of OSP was actually an investigative journalist, or we know that the normal practice of investigative, personnel, they disguise themselves. So how come Baba Jamal was able to identify that this person is from the office of OSP and that is actually going to, review whatever thing allegedly that is happening there? Yeah, so it comes to the whole lot, and so we are waiting for the outcome of the investigation and the way forward.
Right.
But finally, to end it, I think that those who are calling for that annulment is very, it's too early. And then, the president's action, I think it's too early. We should have waited for these allegations and a whole lot. They should also think about the people of Ayawaso East and then the lovers or the followers of the candidate. Should such a decision to be taken, it could have a ripple effect of the people there. Yeah. So what are the people saying? So they should take their time and make sure that they come out with, the right response. And one thing that is also something we should talk about is the fact that Baba Jamal is not the only appointee among the 5 candidates that contested for the election. Among the 5 candidates, 4 are President Mohammed's appointee, except 1. Okay. So why is it that this allegation, other candidates too, there's been this same allegation against them? So why Baba Jamal alone? And so we are here to find out what is actually
so
going on.
with the fact that he was the High Commissioner to Nigeria, maybe the president, recalling him or the position or all of that was so that, Ghana's image to Nigeria would not have a negative, it will not have a negative connotation, because here is the case: the person who is to represent Ghana in a different country is being accused of vote buying, which it doesn't, give Ghana a good rep, So if maybe for now he's just saying, okay, let's hold on to your post. After all the investigations have been done and you are cleared, maybe you return to that post, so that, because imagine, let's say, this was the ambassador or high commissioner to one of these US or UK countries. What do you think would happen in that situation where the person representing Ghana is being accused of vote buying back home? What reflection do you think that would give in a country like the US, the UK, China, or Russia?
You see, in this country, we work with the Constitution, but the Constitution did not explicitly state that if you are in such a position, you have to step down before you contest for election. Sources indicate that he took 10 days leave to embark on this. No,
but it's not even about the contest. I'm talking about the allegations following that. Where Peter.
So right now, these allegations. Yes. What if it comes out that
you are guilty until proven innocent?
So the actions taken. Would he be giving back his position?
So it's likely, because when in situations like this, it's a bit sensitive, especially with the fact that another country is also involved, and our relations with these countries, our reputation, we need to manage our affairs properly. So yes, Nigeria basically are brothers, but let's just substitute Nigeria with a bigger country that tends to probably be a little, issues there are more sensitive or treated with more caution and intent. So in this case, the ambassador to the US is being accused of vote buying or being accused of something heinous like this or something critical. If we don't, check that and make it, not like we're trying to make it look a certain way, but actually take certain measures to make sure that, okay, this is not in line with the values we have as a nation, the US would also treat the issue in a certain way that may not reflect well on us.
Yeah, I understand. So what about the remaining 3 appointees?
But these 3 appointees, were they also high commissioners and ambassadors to other countries?
No,
I'm just taking it from that perspective of the international, relations here.
But regardless, the code of conduct stated that all appointees by President Mahama, so whether you're a high commissioner, you're a minister, whoever you are, the rule applies to all of you. Okay. And so that is, if that is
so
the case,
if it's done to him, it must be done to everybody else.
You understand? So you see, we have laws in this country, and we must allow the law to actually work. We should take our time, like you're saying. It is not right. It doesn't speak well at all.
Yeah.
Because we know that he has this code of conduct, and so if time passes by and then even the president decides not to do that, the people of Ghana will actually refer him to that. And so I think that we know we are being ruled by rules and regulations, and we know them. So we should allow them to, flow one step to another. Else when we make hasty decisions, it will come back to us.
That's
you
true.
Get it.
Right. Yeah. So our cherished viewers would like to hear from you. What are your takes on the Baba Jamal issue? What are your takes on the president's actions? And of course, what are your takes on the elections as well? We'd like to hear from you. So please do send your comments to the WhatsApp number displayed onto your screens or to the YouTube and Facebook live stream. And then when the phone lines are opened, you can call and share your thoughts. So, Peter, aside the political issues, what else did you pick up?
Yeah, there's this gentleman, I hope you all remember the romance case saga. The romance Abu Trika. His full name is, let me get his full name, Frederick Kumi, a.k.a. Abu Trika. It became so loud in this country. But there's been another development. Frederick Kumi has sued the Interior Ministry, NACOC, FBI, over inhuman treatment during his, arrest and whatever. So I have what actually Abu Trika is saying. So he says, I'm challenging my arrests and treatment by state security agencies and agents of the United States Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. My arrest on 11th December 2025 was carried out under conditions that amounted to torture and cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment in violation of Article 15 of the Constitution. From the morning until late evening, I was restrained in handcuffs. I was denied food, water, rest, and other basic necessities. While in the custody of officers of the Narcotics Control Commission, Iroko and Attorney General's Department, I was subjected to severe physical and psychological distress. I was interrogated while still handcuffed, surrounded by armed officers, and repeatedly threatened and intimidated. Despite my persistent request, I was denied access to a lawyer of my choice. These actions violated my right to dignity, legal representation, and a fair trial as guaranteed under Article 15 and 19 of the Constitution. It goes on and on, but I'll end here. So based on Article 15 and 19, it says that the authorities, NACOC, Yoko, Attorney General, and all of them together abused, his human rights and all that. But one aspect of this issue is that, he's still in court. In as much as some, allegations have been dropped, like the romance saga, it has been dropped, but still, he's still in court, going for trials and whatever. And so people are saying that he should have waited when he's been acquitted and discharged, and he's, and if the court says he's free of all charges, then he can, go on with this issue. But once he's in the custody and still, filing this case, people fear that the outcome might not be great. And so that is also what is happening. But,
there seems to be that running, what's the word I'm looking for? Rumor that usually when you're apprehended by some of these bodies and other security agencies too, you are likely to be intimidated. You're likely to be treated as less than human. And usually we hear those kinds of things. And so it makes it a little difficult to not necessarily choose sides, but we need to be objective about this because at this point, it is his word against all these bodies. And if, this is something we've been hearing over, that usually when, for lack of a better word, criminals are apprehended, they are treated a certain way. Even looking at protesters from 2024, they were allegedly, they were allegedly not treated very well, they were deprived of food and all of that. Now, in this situation too, then there's a question that, was he compliant? Because when we are looking at it from the left, we need to look at it from the right as well. Was there any situation that caused force to be applied? Like they say, if persuasion fails, force will be applied. Was there a situation like that? Or was he also compliant and they were still trying to intimidate him? Now, if they were intimidating him, is it because of his persona on social media that, you know that thing where sometimes, even in the movies, you see that the police officer or the inspector or whoever has gotten somebody in his domain and says, yes, I'm the boss now, and tries to sort of make you cower or kowtow to confess your crimes and things like that. So at this point, we would have to hear, not from both sides, so to speak, because we know that he's been a bit loud. We know that he could be, I don't want to say exaggerating, but definitely there are different sides to this story. And I think we just need to also think about the fact that this is a trend now, for some time now, where when people are apprehended, they are treated in inhumane ways, and it is not giving these bodies a good reputation. Exactly. What do you think?
I mean, like he rightly stated, it is against Article 15 and 19 of the Constitution. And so if you are to apprehend someone, I mean, respect the person as well. In as much as you are carrying out your duties, you should be. And then, like you rightly said, maybe the other party also retaliated, was resisting arrest and all that. And so I think going forward, there should be much more education to know the rights of, an officer coming to arrest you and the right of the person being arrested as to whether, sometimes a lot of officers tend to abuse the power, like you rightly said, with that ego, I'm the officer, the boss, I can do that. And sometimes they overuse their power. And there are a lot of people who also understand the law, have read the law, maybe not necessarily understanding it as the officer may, but then he or she understands his or her rights when it comes to arrest. You understand? There are situations that a police officer can come to you and wants to arrest you, and you can tell the police officer, I'll come in person, maybe at this time. And the police officer must obey that. You said you are going to come. You don't want to be handcuffed and be blacked. You want to come. So there are laws that I think education should be more.
But the police officers to say, you've committed a crime, you're coming to dictate to us when you will come.
I mean, you committed. I mean, so like I said, it is two-sided. And so I think that there should be more of education. So we should know, so that we know, like you should know your rights when it comes to situations like this. But sometimes what I've actually witnessed one. I mean, it's not fun. Sometimes the allegations, they are not true. It is alleged that this person has done this. And then the way and manner some of our police officers or authorities would, go about the arrest. It's very, sometimes they are being abused, beatings and all that. You get it?
I mean, the Stop Galamsey protesters will probably testify more to this but then in our society too, there is that norm of, okay, Peter stole my chewing gum and we've caught him. Immediately, since you've been caught and you are guilty, there is this shame. I don't want to use humility, but you know you are guilty. So everybody, it's not humility. It's more of shame, where now your head is bent. You can't even resist because chill. So in that time, people tend to sort of push you around. Thief, because even when you look at mob action, the way the thief or whoever has been caught is treated, it comes back into our more, controlled areas. Like we were just talking about, and I was saying that even the protesters, I think we've seen videos where they will be pushing the people or handcuffing you and just be dragging you along. Like, you are no longer treated with the respect and dignity as a human being just because, okay, I don't want to use, not using just, but for the fact that you've committed a crime or you are in the wrong in a certain situation. And now it's becoming a bigger issue because Abu Treka has been able to come out. What about the others who were probably beaten to death in the cells that we don't know about? Probably. So,
I mean, as we speak against this, we should also let viewers and anybody know that once you resist, if you resist arrest, in as much as the officer involved do not have, the right to treat you anyhow, but if you resist arrest, the officer will be left with no option than to find any way and means to get you.
If you use any, it makes it too open.
Okay, so something rather than, so
because it then justifies, if you say any, then it justifies him probably removing his belt to lash you or something to get you to comply, which may not be the right way to go. So I think maybe we also need to frame it well so that we understand that, yes, if you resist, the officer will do one or two things to get you to comply. And if you're compliant and they are still treating you that way, then it is an infringement on your rights.
Yeah, that even reminds me of one of the, crackdowns of the anti-illegal vetting to one of the mining areas where one person was shot there. Once you encounter the police officers, once they give a warning shot, it means that they are telling you that they are ready to shoot. So you can have that banter and everything with police officers, but once you hear a warning shot, it means that they are ready. They are ready. So once you hear the warning shot, you have to run away. So I think some of these things, there should be more of education. And then sometimes it becomes so annoying that when you meet people who think they know the rights more, the law,
I know my rights.
My rights more than you do. Meanwhile, in normal sense, the person is actually not saying what actually exists. And so I think there should be more of education. And I know viewers can testify, and viewers have also experienced something like this. So I think they can also share their opinion on matters like this when it comes to arrests.
Right. Okay, so I think the only trend I would, talk about is the transportation issue.
Exactly.
So I think last week we spoke a little about that, and considering the experience I had, I was thinking that should the government rather look at bringing in government church? So these will be 207 buses or the Toyota Hiace or all of those buses that we know, but maybe a color-coded one for the government, most likely red, gold, green as usual, but something that the community or all of us, we the citizens, pedestrians, will be more, interested in picking, because it seems that, yes, we are hearing about Ayalolo buses, but it still isn't checking the issue for us. Because these drivers are still doing these things. They are still taking the fares. And people are also reluctant, especially with the fact that the claims that Ayalolo buses don't go quick. They're not fast. The church, they just meander. So I would like to ask us, this was an idea that popped in my head. Should the government also look at bringing government churches where they'll be branded? People would also be employed to be these church drivers. These buses will be state-of-the-art, where you will not be sitting on seats that will cause you scoliosis or something. So I think, yes, that's one of the things. Because on days like Mondays, goodness, it is brutal out there in the mornings and in the evenings. The demand for cars is just increasing. And especially when the students are also, or the pupils are still in school, you have to contend with them for cars. And sometimes you look and say, sorry, I have to go to...
And also, I like some drivers that use Sotium to Kwashima route. Some of the mates, they will get there and be like, oh, we are picking the students because you are running late. Yara, the issue has become more serious than before. These days,
it's getting worse,
there are no cars. There are no cars. And then, like you said...
And where are the cars going to? Because there used to be...
a whole lot of cars there. But, the behavior we complained about, that brought about the Ministry of Transport meeting GPRTU still persists. irrespective of whatever solution they proposed or brought out, it is still not working. Right now, it has become worse. It has become worse. They are still charging those exorbitant prices. And then what is making it more difficult is that you don't even get the car. You have the money, you want to pay that exorbitant price, but you are not getting the car. So the situation right now, I think the Ministry of Transport and the GPRT should sit up again and government because it is very serious. Now, the queues, I don't know how to even describe them.
Different alphabets.
It's serious. So right now, when you get to Koko board, that side, around 4, even as late as 8, the number of people you find there, people are willing to pay the exorbitant prices, but the cars are not coming. So as you made mention of the Yalolo buses, the big buses that we claim they cannot, go fast and that. People are boarding cars that are, when you look at the nature of the car, I mean like 1940-something car. And you see that this car, it will take like 3 hours before you can get to a destination that will, usually or normally take you like 30 minutes. But people do not have choice. They don't have any choice than to join those cars. And so if the transport ministry is watching, I mean, transport industry, it is worse. It is worse. People are suffering. People are really suffering.
Yeah, suffering.
They have the money. Right now, they want to pay the exorbitant price, which is, of course, not good, but they are not even getting the cars.
Yeah.
Where are the Metro Bus cars? The STC buses or cars, I'm not seeing them anymore. So I know those of you watching, if you've been seeing them, because like I said sometime earlier, that I was privileged to join one since that time. So I even told my colleagues that, Charlie, this time, between 7:30 and 8, those buses are free. You go there at that time and you don't see those buses. And then the number of people there is so serious. And the way people struggle to get car, we shouldn't wait for somebody to lose his or her eye or get a serious injury before we treat that issue. And so the people that GPRT said, the task force, we are not seeing them. We are not seeing them. And then drivers, car owners, we are begging you, please, if you've hijacked your cars, please release the cars. People are suffering. It's very bad. It's serious.
This situation, I think one question I would ask our audience and ask you or viewers is, some people are saying that the Ayalolo buses should be, brought. We should have more of that and phase out the trotro system. Now, some of us too, considering the issue on grounds, we are thinking government should also take up the trotro business itself, bring more buses, in that size, and color code it, employ people, do the seats, correct state-of-the-art seats. So we'd like to hear from you. What do you think? Should the government phase out trotro systems? Should the government, also look into investing into the trotro system and have their own buses? What do you think the government should do about these transport issues? We would like to hear from you. Send the comments to the WhatsApp number displayed on your screens. You can also send the comments to the Facebook and YouTube live stream. And then also you can call and share with us when the phone lines are opened. So what do you think? What do you think the government should do? Should the government bring a buying trotro?
Yes. So in as much as I think that the idea is laudable, phasing out the trotro regime wouldn't help, because as Clement stated some other time, the demand is high. Look at our population here in Accra alone. The demand is high. Then we don't have a trotro system. It's good. Adding up to the ones we have already, because I remember I sat here to say that we should phase it out. But currently, looking at our
dancing, as much as I've suggested that, yes, maybe government can look into the trotro system. There are cities in this world with larger populations than ours, and they have the bus systems and it's running efficiently. So what is our problem? What is the difference here? What is making it so impossible to possibly phase it out? Now, this is just for conversation purposes, because our opinions don't reflect, the general opinions of the public. But what makes it so different from another city that has a larger population than the whole Accra?
Yes, so definitely so this one, it's a structural problem. So this one, we have to take it one step
at a time.
Because with the bus system, already we are talking about our roads. So before we can get to that extent, it means that we've expanded our road. Already there's traffic in town and all that. So talking about these cities in other countries that have, it is a well-structured system that only buses and trains. It is structured. But down here, we are now getting to that side. So, I mean, for the meantime, these are some of the things, like you said, we should get in more cars. And then as time goes on, it should be a long-term project, a long-term goal, a long-term project that, by 2030 or 2035, this is the system, our transport system. We are going to use only buses and trains. And so we work towards it. If it means that we have to expand our routes, we have to create other route networks and all that, we do it. So by the time we will say that this is the time we want to phase out trotro, it means that we have other systems in place that can also take the place of trotro. But for now, as we speak, we don't have the means. And so for the meantime, and the Deputy Transport Minister also promised of getting some new buses to help ease the congestion. We are still, waiting.
Well, they said by month's end, so we are hoping that.
So we have Metro Mass.
We enter Ghana month. We are entering Ghana
with new buses. All right. So the situation it's worrying. It's very worrying.
Okay. So coming to the next trend, we have an issue, and it's about a trader raising alarm over child hawking at Makola. And there's a video of that. Let's take a look quickly. So that video is of a young girl who's less than 10 years. And I think we have an issue with the sound, but when I watched it, the person raising alarm was saying that the child was brought from somewhere very far to Makola to sell. And this lady who was raising the alarm was asking that how much can this young child sell to bring home to be able to meet any needs at home, that on a Saturday, this child below the age of 10 is in Makola market selling.
So when I also listen from the side this young girl was coming from, was to where she was, as at the time the video was taken, was about 41 minutes drive. And imagine this little girl walking. Like you said, this is a very serious issue, and these are some of the problems we are facing in Ghana, and then even globally. So I want to start from the global aspect of the statistics, and I'll come down to Ghana, and then we'll possibly discuss the solutions and whatever we can do to help stop this. So, globally, we have nearly 138 million child workers. 59 million are girls, and 78 million are boys. This represents about 8% of all children globally, with 54 million in hazardous work. So I'll explain that hazardous work when we come down to Ghana. That threatens their health and safety. But then some progress has been made to fight child labor. Street hawkers is under child labor. Child labor is the bigger umbrella. So street hawkers and the others are also under child labor. And so, like I said, progress has been made against the fight. Between 2020 and 2024 alone, child labor fell by 22 million. And so, like I said, some progress has been made. And now when you come down to Ghana, approximately 2 million children aged 5 to 17 are involved in child labor in Ghana. And what we just saw, the girl is probably between...
She's about 8. Yes.
10. Are involved in child labor, representing about 21% to 28% of the child population. And so with 14 engaged in hazardous work. So when we talk about hazardous work, they are work that are actually will have a negative impact on the child, like that will affect their health or their physical well-being. Example is like mining, quarrying, and then using, machines to work and all that. And so these children mostly are employed in agriculture, fishing, and mining, particularly in the rural areas. Just last week, we were talking about one young boy who was piloting a boat from somewhere in the Volta region.
Yeah.
So these are all situations that we are facing in this country. And then in Ghana too, there's been some progress. The government of Ghana, in partnership with UNICEF and the International Labour Organization, is working to actually eliminate these practices through legal frameworks and improved data collection. Now, so one will say, what does the law say? What does the law in Ghana say? So when you take a look at the Child Labour Act, it says a whole lot. You know that children can actually be employed. Children can actually be employed, but it depends on the nature of work that you allow them to do. With what we just saw, I mean, like you rightly said, how much can this kid actually make to support the family back at home? Could it be that her parents are not actually aware that she's out there embarking on this activity?
But which child, especially that young, would carry wares and decide to walk? You mentioned that the distance, it's about 40 something.
Yeah, 41 minutes.
41 minute drive. So that's approximately, give or take, maybe 2-hour walk.
Yes.
And if she did walk at that age, what will cause a child that young to take wares put on her head and walk this distance or for this amount of time to come and sell? Children let's be honest about children. They want to play, you know, and just enjoy themselves. And it's a Saturday, so probably want to rest, want to do homework, and then play some more. But to take wares, and I mean, even though she might be a thoughtful child, things are not easy at home, but I don't think it will get to that level.
Exactly. Street hawking wouldn't be an option. But then, you know, we can also talk about the causes of some of these street hawking and all of that. We can talk about broken homes.
Yeah.
Sometimes some families, their parents just divorce when they are like, you know, very young. And
then for all you know, one parent to leave everything
on one. Yeah. And then for all you know, she might have younger siblings. Yeah. Which of course, like you said, she's so thoughtful that would want to. But then that shouldn't be the situation. Yeah. And then we can also blame it on abject poverty, that it's because of poverty. So poverty, you can't send your daughter to a place like this with exposing her to this risk. There's the risk of car accident, and even fumes from cars.
Yes, and
the emission.
If the crowd, the stampede, you know, she's so small. Somebody could kick you somewhere, and by the time you realize you've been stepped on, injured very badly. And she probably doesn't have a phone to call her parents or something.
Right,
and someone could easily kidnap you. And because it's Makola, how many people are paying attention to children around to know that no, this person is tailing this child to try to catch them? It's unsafe. And you know, usually I'm the one that tends to cite poverty, but really and truly is how much poverty is worth this child's life. You know, like it is too much. Like you said, children can be employed, and if let's say it's in the neighborhood, go, you know, shout pure water to this house and return. Go. You know, it makes sense not to justify that as well. But then it is much safer than Makola, because if we even think about it, places like Makola, it takes a lot of people to get to a certain age to be able to actually even come there, like Mobedija. So for a child below the age of 10 to have wares on her head to go around selling inside Makola, it is very strange. And we would like to hear from you, viewers. So please call and share with us your thoughts. The phone lines are opened. So let's hear from you about, you know, street hawking, especially by children, and what can be done about it. What are some of the causes? What do you know? Share with us, and let us have an extensive and interactive conversation about this.
So, you know, kids like this, statistics has it that kids like this, you know, most street workers, they are mostly female, and they are at risk of teenage pregnancy and
no,
STDs.
they are not at risk they are at risk of rape.
Yes.
Exactly. Sexual assault and harassment.
So
and kidnapping and human trafficking.
Exactly. Exactly. So this is very serious. So now let's look at the law. What the law says. So under Ghana's law. So later I'll quote the act. So the Act, Children's Act 1998 at 560, and related labor regulations. So under Ghana's law, children under age 15 generally may not be legally employed in regular work. However,
so children under age 15,
yes, may not be legally employed in regular work. However, there's an important one. Children aged 13 and 14 can be engaged in light work. Light work is what you stated, like, oh, your parents will send you to go and buy this for me, do this, or you want to help with family business after school.
So
just
even if there's a shop,
store,
yes.
Within, you're not going outside. That kind of work is not it's not affecting your health.
You can even be reading your books when someone comes, you attend to them, yes.
Yes. So children aged 13 and 14 can be engaged in those work, but only if it does not harm their health and development or interfere with school attendance, like we stated. Because it is after school, you can help your mom at the shop, sell 1 or 2, then you go back home. And then we also have minimum age for work in Ghana under 13 years, no legal employment at all. So children under 13, as we stated, are not permitted to work. 13 to 14 years can be engaged in light work only, like we stated. So 15 years and above, eligible for general employment. 15 years and above are eligible for general employment, meaning ordinary work, still within other protections like no hazardous work, no light work, etc. So 13 and 14 years can be employed, like we stated. They should be at a place where the work is not going to affect their health, their physical well-being, or interfere with their, schooling. Like what we saw, street hawking. I mean, what time are you going to make for school? And then it even affects the academic performance.
Yeah.
So last time I was having a debate with somebody, and I was saying that if you are somebody who works like every day, you work after school, sometimes you have to skip school.
Right. So we have a caller on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling the Koko Digest Morning Show. Your name and where you're calling
good morning.
from, please. Good morning. Thank you for calling. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Pacho Mekasa Satama.
Okay, Pacho Uding.
I'm Pacho, you're from Lucy.
Okay, Lucy, Pacho Intio.
Good morning, I'm Pacho. I'm Pacho, Yami come on one day. I'm Pacho, Yami can say,
Pacho Intio.
I can't see him. No question, I say, I am a correct. Yami, she say. Attempts no, I will jay na much nyame nyinaba. I will jay. Na obi so wa ba na no o hwe ngwala no. Enti ema ma me no no hwetren. Enti obi wa otumi ka tell me obi no koma na dan fu bi na akwara na kwata ne because of motivate. Enti say or the local man at that was what I Germany at Colando School. Not trying to open school. Not what time I get it to the day, all Tom. At the age of 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. After 8 years, they didn't cry never all the time. Oh, and so most of the time, I will form your account. And I get up on my son and so there. You see, maybe. And so one time I mean, for when you know, one of the years, we did it for to me, I show you. Me no way, my money and I show you. Or maybe at or me, Juma. Near the me, I send it. And the young woman whom I didn't have a short number. I'm not for what we say to the dear, me, Juma Dean. And the meeting that I will for the to me, Juma Dean. You got to make a show of more that, and so I affect. That we are two Golane, the dear with her. And what I'm saying on the future is the end of what they are doing. The Nakajana Yachi, Akoran so obey future papa, a Ginawa or Fonoso. Obey future Manesua, and also a Ginawa or Fonoso. And when you may come out of Fonosa, yes, Ọwọ́ mọ̀ sẹ́ ẹ̀yẹ dín náà so no yẹn mi èyí ní sẹ́ yẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ yìí jùlọ ní yẹ di aṣọ yẹn màtí ti skul wọ́n kọ́ yẹn fún àwọn ọ̀sẹ̀ mi ní yẹ fàǹtẹ̀yìn ní fíye mi nana mu no dẹ̀bẹ̀ ọmọ skul ẹ̀nso no ẹ̀nà sọ ọmọ akọ skul ní ti no ọmọ jùlọ yẹ sẹ́yìn ẹ̀nà sọ ọmọ di ọmọ ntùmí akọ skul ọmọ ṣẹ ọmọ bá akọ skul ní ọmọ yẹ dẹ̀bi pátá yẹ bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀gyina nti no mẹsìrẹ awofoɔ no sɛ ɔmo mbɔ ɔmɔde sɛ ɔmo bɛhyɛ nkwadaa no ɔmo de akye ɛna ehia because ɛbi ɛna ɛbɛta wɔn mo bayɛ panyin ɔmo sɛ akwadaa no ɔmo ntumi ahwɛ ntie na sɛ akwadaa no yi na sɛ ebi ɛna ti mi ti sɛ ebi ɛna ɔkɔyɛ amorɔba ebi ɛna ɔkɔbɔ kɔn no wɔ ha wokura wote anyɛ fɛ anaasɛ obi hu a w'ani ngye nti mɛsìrɛ awofoɔ no sɛ yɛbɛtumi aboɔ nkwadaa no yɛahyɛ nkwadaa no. Yeye betumi bi a niafa ya ho odin ye. Na ya fa hwe nkora se da be ya omo da akes be ye den. E be ye fe. Na ye nje se ena omo nkoto opia wata. Ena apply it here. Na omo kwala how? Anya fe.
Acho ye da se
ya sramwa. Tani amonso mo wa mo kan. Ye buso ye kan ina na mo kasa kira wo fo ne se omo nyomani na omo nko mo fona mo da akes no edina ye ya so.
That's right. So that was a caller speaking about the fact that sometimes broken homes, as Peter mentioned, and in the end, usually the fathers don't, make it or show any responsibility or act on their responsibilities to the children, and it leaves the burden on the mothers, making them single parents. And in this case, sometimes these mothers will take their children to a friend or another family member or a family friend to live with to help them take care of them. And then this person may, say that they are taking the child to school, the children to school, and then rather involve them in such activities. And as parents, whether you're a single parent, you're in a dual income household, you should think about the children's future, do the work, work hard to be able to take care of these children and make sure that they have brighter futures than yours. That was a very, very good and beautiful contribution to the conversation. Thank you so much, Madam Lucy from Amasaman. And, before you continue, you were talking about the ages, that the Constitution says that we can agree, we can employ, for some light work. And one thing that was striking to me was the age 13 and 14, and above. Now, those ages are the start of teenage years, first and foremost. So teenage years. Then also, by age 13, the child is usually in JHS 1, according to the way the systems go. And this, in comparison to this young girl that we are seeing on our screens, she's an 8-year-old. Now, from what I remember, 8-year-olds are usually in class 3?
Yeah,
Lower primary, class 3. And the Constitution says to be able to employ somebody, the youngest should be between 13 and 14. Even that is not legal. It's just something light. Sure. So when you compare, you think about the fact, look at the capabilities of an 8-year-old versus, a 15-year-old. You see, these are things that I think, like we've been saying, more education should be given on that, because class 3, they haven't even finished learning syllables.
It's serious. Even with 15 years, the Constitution says that before you can enroll a 15-year-old.
By 15 years, no, we reach JHS.
Yes. So, if you are not done with JHS, you are not supposed to be, faking to learn something. Yeah. So, the mandate is that the person must have finished with basic education before you can enroll the person in all that. So we have the laws. So I think that going forward, parents who allow their kids to be on the street like this should be prosecuted and punished to serve as a lesson and a deterrent to.
All right. Okay. So we have another caller. Hello, Anthony. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling the Koko Digest Morning Show. We'd like to hear from you.
Okay, so I'm Anthony and I'm calling from Takrady.
Okay.
So I think on the transport, we keep running around in the same circles. In that our roads seem to have gotten to its maximum already. Come to think of it, the number of cars on the road keep piling up, creating unnecessary traffic every time. Alternatively, we have neglected the train system. We have neglected other forms that we could utilize. One of the days, I visited somewhere where they use speedboats to do transport. We have this beach lying down. People from Tema can decide not to use the road and head straight to the center of Accra without using the road. Our roads will be free for us. The fewer cars we have there will be able to do the transportation with no problem. But we don't keep thinking, let's expand roads. We expand the road, the volumes keep increasing, and we're still coming back to the same thing. Now we are talking about looking at dualizing virtually all our major roads. Accra Kumasi, Accra Sakadi. Will that solve the problem? No. Look at our haulage system. We have all these heavy-duty trucks that we struggle with on that same road. When these trucks get to 2, 3 in a queue, it becomes very difficult to overtake them. These guys are crawling at under 30 kilometers per hour, and the buses are queued up behind them, causing unnecessary traffic. So at the end of the day, if we keep looking at road transport, I don't think we are making any headway. We need to look at alternatives to be able to resolve this problem. And it's not like it's far-fetched. They are just around us. Look at railway was doing very well. Now, where is railway? Most of our teamers, most of our manganese and all that were being run through the railway. They built this Taka road it's under a year. On the same road they built under a year, if you use it now, it doesn't really even look like this road was done. So where are we headed? Nowhere. That's why I said we keep running around like in circles. Now, when it comes to this child labor thing, I think that some way, somehow, the Child Act, the social welfare system, and others are not really helping us. Let's look at it this way. These are government institutions that are meant to be responsible for the children's welfare. How many of us, even now, are aware of what is in their document when it comes to being responsible for the children we bring onto this earth? So we have children in this country, and it looks like we virtually, yes, we have given birth to them, and so what? So everybody can take up a child and go and give to anyone to take care of. And that is where our problem starts from. Come think of it, the same parents who are saying they don't have money, so they are sending the kids to somebody else to take care of, will have a lot of money to go and buy new pieces of cloth, new stuff, bags, and whatever, to attend funeral. You are telling me the funerals are more important than your child's upkeep. Come on, we should be fair to our kids. They deserve better.
That's true.
They deserve way better. Thank you very much. Let somebody also contribute.
Thank you so much, Anthony. So
that's so loud.
You know, when Anthony was speaking about the road systems, I remember that I had a conversation with somebody some time back, and she was telling me that we don't have a lot of main roads. We have just one. And we have other roads that feed into this main road. So even when you are going home, wherever, at some point you will have to join the main road when you use the back road. So maybe as we are so focused or hyper-focused on the roads, why not expand these feeder roads, back roads, and make them also able to carry more than, what they can now, increase the capacity of these roads, then the ease of pressure would, the ease of pressure will be better. Because I think when what's the name of that place? The flower pot interchange, when it was opened, you see that the traffic situation on the main road, eased up just a little bit, if maybe you were spending 30 minutes on a certain stretch, at least it's reduced by maybe, give or take, 50 to 70%. It was no longer, because the people that were going in the other direction were now using the flower pot area. And it helped. But I mean, like he said, the cars are increasing.
He made a very brilliant submission. So it's high time we look at other alternatives like the train system.
And
like
he mentioned speedboats.
So yes, so I agree with him, and I think going forward, the transport ministry and government should also look at other alternatives. Like he rightly said, every day our focus is on it, and we go and we come back to square one. There's nothing we do about it. And so back to the issue of the street hawkers, child labor, and what have you in this country. One of the problems too is rural-urban migration.
Yeah,
understand. So people migrate from the rural areas, come to the city without knowing what they have to do. And then, in the villages, that's where they give birth. And so a parent will come having like about 5 or 6 kids. And then they will come and will intend using the kids for, the kids would have to go and work, bring money home for the survival of the family. And then I think going forward, we have the laws. So we should enforce the laws and punish offenders, parents, like he rightly said, who claim they don't have money, but have money to buy other luxurious stuff, leaving their kids. And I like it when the first caller said that education is key. If you were not able to go to school, and fortunately you've been blessed with a child or children, ensure that you enroll them and avoid using them. How much can they make for you? How much?
At this young age.
How much can they make for you? And I also want to say that all those who are aware of, some parents who are taking care of other people's children and they are treating them anyhow should blow the trumpet, should report them to the nearest police station. Like the caller said, we have institutions who are responsible for all these things, but they are not working. They are just sitting in their offices, pretty. They are sitting there, they are not working. They don't actually know what is going on. It is high time they stop working in the offices and go down to the ground, go out and see what is actually transpiring there, know what is happening, and that will inform your decision making. The last time I was talking about the fact that we don't even have a register that have up to date the number of kids that have been given birth to. We don't know. We don't know. Statistics has it that Accra here alone, about 61,000 street children, and most of them are into street hawking and all that.
Yeah.
You see, below the age of 18 years, they are all kids.
I want to compare the situation about social welfare or, children's protection with what's in the U.S. Not that we are on par with the U.S., but they have this child protective services where now you cannot even beat your child. The child can call 911 on you and all of that. Comparing it to our system here or our society, we are in a society where there is this belief that your children are your property, as compared to the West, where your children can easily become government's property. They can be taken away from you. But here we have that notion, or it's basically a norm that your children are for you. So it even goes extending, not to digress or anything, but it even extends to the parents dictating to you your future, like education, all of that. You want to be a pilot. Your father says, you must be a doctor. If not, he won't pay your school fees. Things like that. And it's almost like, because this is your child, primarily your responsibility is to the child. So as much as maybe you may be mistreating your child, if I complain and I say, no, it's too much, it's abuse, since I may not have the capacity to take care of that child, I cannot even save the child from you. And even to save the child from you, it can easily become a police case where you can very easily say, I have kidnapped your child. Because to you, the child belongs to you. It is your property. You had the child for the 9 months, all of that. So do you think that is where the issue is starting from? That because, people, just like even with the rent issues, the landlord will say, me dying. Whatever I will do with it as I please. Do you think that it is coming from there, and so maybe it's also a way that hinders social welfare, laws being enforced properly? So,
I like the comparison, but there's no difference. Just that ours, it's on paper. It is not in practice. We have the same, laws. But here in Ghana, we are not enforcing them. That's why we have all these institutions, social welfare and other institutions that are responsible for children and what have you. We have it, but we are not enforcing it. It is a system failure. It's a system failure. I mean, we should know some of these things. planning ahead. I mean, it is a system failure. It's not that we don't know the writing, we know the writing, but the system is not working. I've been saying this, we have all the laws, but the enforcement is the problem currently. I mean, it's very true, we are all victims of that. When you don't have a say as a child, because your father or your parents...
Yeah, and you can't even call the police. They'll say, oh, no, your father.
But, the Constitution protects the rights of kids. But just that we are not enforcing it, and too much culture. That even when you call the police on your mother... There was a recent story when a young boy actually took his parents to the police station that the amount of money
I remember
his
that,
parents gives him is not enough, and that he's dying of hunger or something. I mean, a whole lot of people were talking based on culture. You are not supposed to take your parents, and you have to be in the shoes of your parents. No, it's not like that. I mean, it is high time we punish them. We should prosecute parents who do that thing to serve as a deterrent. Once we find out that Miss Akosia Ama and, her husband actually allowed their case to be on the street hawking, government intervened, they've been prosecuted and sentenced, they will do the needful.
Right.
Because we keep on saying it, like what we are saying right now. Some people are listening, and that is the act they are into. Like the woman said, some parents are lazing around, they don't want to work. No matter how difficult it is, when you stand up as a parent and you get to the street, you get something to feed your kids. But if you sit down, if you yourself cannot go out there to make money, how do you expect that small boy, that small girl
who hasn't been eating a full, 3 square
to make money? So I think it's high time we look into that. And like I was saying, that we have the same system as the Westerners. We have free compulsory education. Yeah. So you can't tell me that as a parent you don't have money, so you can't enroll your student. When you go to the government schools, to some extent, government provide them uniforms. All that you have to do is to provide food for the child. Yeah. Go to school for free. Free compulsory basic education.
Yes.
Even JHS, you don't have to pay unless you have money that you want to take your ward to a private school where you pay fees and all that. Free compulsory basic education. So why allow your kids to be on the street doing all manner of things? This child labor mostly happens in the rural areas, the fishing community, the Koko community, and the mining community. Recently, I saw a disturbing video on social media, a young boy of 11 years who goes out there to mine, find money and come and take care of her sick mother, 11 years. And his eyes, I mean, it was very sad. But we have people in the community, we have assembly members. I don't know, but it looks as though people do not care about what happens to others because
they are focused on themselves.
I mean, we should be caring. Yesterday, unfortunately, when I was going home with Felix, just behind controller, a street hawker was knocked down by a car. It was so sad. So I was even telling my colleague, that place, that area, nobody would buy pure water. Everybody is in, look at the caliber of people there. They don't even, most of them do not even buy pure water. They are mostly using this bottled water and all of that. And so it becomes so tedious that, and when the guy was rescued, he was crying. He wasn't crying because of the accident, but the bowl and then the water. So, people are going through a lot. We shouldn't be inhuman like that. I mean, the law should work. Yeah. And then we should help one another before we can, solve this issue.
So before we go to the next trend and then wrap up, I'm going to make a very controversial suggestion. So just like Archbishop Duncan Williams mentioned that if you don't have up to 100K, don't go and do wedding. I think that there should be some financial regulations on starting a family. Like if you don't have the capacity to raise more than one child, hold on before you have another child. And there are so many ways to have protective intercourse and prevent, a surprise child and all of that. Yes, we understand that children are a blessing, but if this blessing is given to you and you make their lives a curse, I mean, then you're not achieving anything because this, like the woman said, that sometimes, the divorce or separation and then all the burden is put on the parents. At this point, both genders should be empowered financially that, okay, the inevitability of life, that even if it is not separation and it is death, you should be able to stand, whether it's the woman, whether it's the man, so that some of these things can easily be curbed. Because in situations where, you know, you are married and then your partner is, you know, deceased. Maybe your partner was working, you weren't, and now you've used all the money for funeral, or even fine, the money has taken care of you to an extent. But now what happens when the money is finished? The child is there. The child is not up to the age where they can do anything. They have to also go to school to become somebody. So at that point, we need to start thinking about the fact that we must have some financial, you know, capacities. Because again, when I was talking about CPS in the US, they look at those things. So it comes to a point where if you know you cannot afford to take care of the kids, you will get government benefits. And if you also adopt a few kids here and there too, you are also paid to take care of them, because they know that, you know, raising children requires a lot. It is intensive. So if you don't have the money for it, protect yourself, because we can't say people shouldn't engage in whatever they want to at their own discretion, but don't bring a life into this world to come and treat in such inhumane ways. That is my suggestion about this. So
to add up, it means that we should encourage people. There should be responsible parenting. We should encourage people to be responsible, take up responsibilities, and then that's all. And they shouldn't see kids as, you know, their assets. Kids that, you see, you made mention of the US back again. Like we still have the system. You know, under the Ministry of Children, Labor, and Children and Social Protection. There is a directorate that is responsible if you're a parent and for some reason you can't take care of your kids or children. There's a directorate that is responsible to give up money to support you, you know, to support you to take care of these kids. Like I said, our system is not working, so we don't have the data of even all the kids. And I strongly, you know, agree with you on the birth. You know, if you know you don't have what it takes, the capacity to. But you see, mostly it happens in the rural areas.
It's happening here in Accra too.
I mean, there should be more of education.
Yeah, and when our support systems are telling us, oh, children are blessed, please, when we need the money for the fees too, if you have, give. Because we tend to have that society where, okay, a pregnancy has occurred. And our religious, all of that, you know, cultural beliefs will prohibit you from taking care of the issue. So they will say, have the child. Now you have the child, it ends at the outdooring. Or even it ends at, okay, your mother coming to bathe the child for a while, and then after that, you are on your own. And you probably don't have the capacity, as a man, as a woman, both parents in this case, you don't have the capacity to take care of the child, and you're always hungry, you're always asking for money from somewhere, and your support system will also leave you, and now start at a point even start to insult you that you knew you didn't have the capacity to take care of these kids, and then here you are. So we have to make sure to also hold ourselves accountable for some of these things. So that is basically what we would have to say about this.
I mean, we have to congratulate parents. Let's say, like we said, single parents
doing their best.
Who are doing their best, because I know a mother of 3 who is taking care of her kids alone, enrolling them in better schools and doing the best for them. So congratulations to you. Responsible parenting is what we are all encouraging all of you to do.
Right. And yes, we also encourage responsible community and support systems. So if there's anything you can put them on, a job, you know, some insano juma, anything, help those people who have kids at the moment. And then they shouldn't also be lazy, as our caller said and as Peter also said. So now moving on to the next issue. A Farm Plains community struggles with inadequate chips facility, and there's a video of that. Let's take a look. Medical care, and he's the only one the government, posted to this area, and the state of the facility is nothing to write home about.
It's questionable. I mean, look at it. So, I mean, when I saw the video, I was like, if I'm dying and they take me to this place, that's God forbid. I'll even die. Like, look, I mean, is this? And then for the fact that it's only one nurse who is supposed to take care of, for God knows the number of people within that, district. So then, you see, some time ago when we were talking about exportation of nurses, our health professionals to other communities, I made mention of something, and then I think you laughed or something. I said, until somebody living in the village somewhere at Bunklugu Yoyo receive the same treatment that we expect those outside to get from our professional nurses, then it means that we are not doing not doing well. A critical example is this: one health professional serving God knows how many people, and then we are exporting our professional, our health professionals to other countries.
When we ourselves here,
we are lacking. Look at the state of the health facility. Look at the state of it.
And he's a nurse. He was posted. We don't even know how long. I mean, pardon my ignorance about the medical systems and their academics, but we don't have an actual doctor there who can probably handle certain issues like someone coming to give birth. Yes, the nurses usually assist, but can he be the one to be at the forefront of every medical emergency there? He doesn't have anybody helping him out. He's the only nurse. No, we don't. I didn't see anything about cleaners or orderlies or anything of the sort. And this is a CHIPS compound. It's supposed to be, something temporary, something that should be improved upon, but it's been left and it's getting dilapidated. And until we, like you said, until we are able to get people to get the basic healthcare that they need everywhere, equal access, we really aren't doing anything, because this is so shameful. And I was thinking about it earlier when I was coming to work, that if the community came together to renovate the place and all of that, are we not at the risk of maybe the leaders or management saying that, if since you can do it yourself, then we won't really pay attention? Or if they start to demand something, they'll say, but you were able to handle it yourself, why not sort it out yourself? But look at this.
So, the situation is, you see, in this country, we were here when the minister responsible for government communications announced that by the end of 2021, they're expecting about 200 or so, about 600 chip compounds in every district. So each district is supposed to build 2. So my question this morning is, how far with that initiative? Have we started that initiative? Are there, structures? I mean, I want to know how far with it. And the government, with the help of district assemblies and communities, are responsible for building chip compounds. These chip compounds are built from the district assemblies common fund. And we know that the 2026-2025 budget, a huge sum of money was allocated to them. And so they are responsible, the district assemblies are responsible for the structures, for building these, chip compounds. And then the health ministry is responsible for staffing these, chip compounds as well. We know that these chip compounds help to bridge the gap, But with this state, the situation, look at the state of the place. It's very sad and it's so shameful. And for the fact that only one nurse, at a point, if you listen to he says he used to sleep there, but he doesn't sleep there anymore. So imagine the time between he going home and the time of he staying there should, in case there's an emergency, one person.
One person.
I mean, it's so shameful that we have this situation in this country and we export our nurses. There was another video circulating about the health minister saying that some people have been posted to rural areas and they don't want to go due to the conditions there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but looking at this situation, look at this one. You expect somebody to go there. You get it. I'm not defending those who do not want to go there, but let be considerate.
We need to be honest about this.
Looking at this, you expect somebody who schooled in Greater Accra all her life or his life to go there and manage. I mean, we can do well as a country. If government, like you said, is not willing, the district assembly, you have district assembly common fund, help, renovate the place, make the place lively for people. And also, in as much as, against the fact that some of these structures are not, so welcoming. I mean, if you're a health professional and you are posted to areas like, they also need health care. Please be considerate as well. You understand? And I think that this initiative about every district building 2 CHIP compounds is going to help if it is not just, we're talking about it and we're actually going to walk the talk. It is going to help. So within the span of 4 years, it means that we are going to get over 400 or 200,000, CHIP compounds. And then this is not fine. I mean, this is not fine.
I'm going to liken this to buying a car.
Yeah.
If you buy a car and you don't fuel it, you don't maintain it, at some point it will not run.
Yeah.
And it's not just about constructing or building these CHIP compounds, but it's also about maintaining them, expanding them. Fine, it starts out as a small emergency place, you can just go to get basic medical care. But there should be some sort of timeline. If, it's been constructed in the year 2026, give or take by 2028, so for 2026, maybe it's basic healthcare, first aid. 2028, we should see an improvement. Okay, so maybe the small something drip, you can do some consultancy. In the next 2 years, we should see advancements so that these things don't end up coming to become more of a waste of money. Because if this continues, looking at the condition of this structure, within 5 years, would this building even still be there? The nurse himself, wouldn't he probably apply for some reposting or transfer somewhere, or even do his 1 or 2 moves to get out of the country? It's not just about building it, but maintaining it, getting the people, like you're saying. I think we even had this discussion here some time back, some months ago, where we were talking about the conditions of service, that these CHIP compounds should be made in a way and resourced in a way that these professionals would also want to be there. Then also, since you are posting them to unfamiliar places, there should be some sort of government housing issues or housing provided so that, like he said, he doesn't sleep there. And you also mentioned that if there's an emergency somewhere in the night, what happens? Because for all we know, he lives so far away, he may not even be able to attend to the person. And then it ends up reflecting on his own psychological well-being, that he was not able to be there to provide healthcare, the basic first aid for somebody, and the person may have lost their lives. It is such a vicious cycle of so many bad things that can happen, and he's already overwhelmed. And you are saying that you were saying that the health professionals should also be considerate. He's overwhelmed, he has to be considerate, and there are times he's unavailable. What's happening to their mental health at this point?
So for the fact that if this nurse is under government's payroll and government or the Ghana Health Service is aware that there's this nurse at this place working and he receives pay, what prevents the Ghana Health Service from getting other nurses, supporting nurses for
or
them?
Even for the workload on him, add a few 1 or 2s to his salary,
So
because he's doing about maybe give or take 15 people's work.
Exactly. So the thing is that I didn't want to say it, but I have to say it. So it means that there's negligence somewhere. And I can boldly say that we don't even know the number of chip compounds we have in this country.
That are fully operational.
Exactly. We don't know. If we do, we wouldn't say that we have health professionals in excess and that we have to export some. I mean, I don't actually have a problem exporting our, nurses. But the fact is that there are some communities, some towns in this country that have not been served. Now, why are TV and you been using the carbon thing? No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. It's high time. Each and every citizen in this country needs good health care. I mean, there are some communities that
SDGs and our basic needs.
There are some communities that they even have like beautiful structures, but they don't have health professionals. It is just there. So at the end of the day, this person will be there for 4 or 5 years and will think that right now I'm an expert because I know every aspect of this. And before you realize, he has become a full doctor on his own, managing
doctor by
his
experience.
Own, exactly, doctor by experience. And some of these things, that's what we experience in the rural areas. So, I mean, it is not fair. It's high time we look at these things.
So, I was reading, I'm trying to see if I will get that bit of news, but yes. So, I was reading about, this ship compound things, also in the Afram Plains community. And the story basically mentioned that, yes, so in the Kwehu Afram, so this is an old story, but this was somewhere last year. Yes, last year. And... No, not last year. Okay, this is a different one. But this was somewhere in 2014. Sorry, this is a different document. But it still says the same thing I'm trying to talk about. It was about the state of the chips compounds, that there are 27 existing chips compounds in the Kwehu Afram Plains North district in the eastern region. And out of these 27, there's only 8 of them that operate in permanent structures. So... Continuing this issue, the rest are located in rented houses, a situation that the health directorate described as a challenge. Then it says here too that some of them are in buildings that half of the roof is gone, and the buildings are not even in good state or very, and it is. So here it says the chip compound at Abutan, so forgive the butchering, for instance, operates from a 2-bedroom house and a corridor with parts of the roof ripped off, leaving a gaping space which gives way to sun rays and leakages anytime it rains. So the problem is very big. We've left it at just, chips compound. But there's more to be done. Exactly. Personnel-wise, resources, and even the facilities.
I mean, so I would say that for us to waste another money to erect, different structures, it should go to various districts and communities where we have existing ones that are not in good shape. We should do refurbishment. We should refurbish it, get personnel there, and we get it running. Places that we don't have, we should, as quick as possible, we should just erect structures, a modernized one, get people there. As we are saying, we have the health professionals. Now, unemployment is a problem, an issue in this country. Whilst we have, some avenues that can create employment, some avenues that are so, health professionals are essential workers. We need them. And so, there should be some form of, how should I even put it? They should go to the various districts and communities where we have existing one. We should just refurbish it, staff them, and then we start working. Places that they also need them, we should ensure that they do same to, ease, as we say, the backlog of nurses that we have.
Yeah.
And so I would like to conclude by saying that until Kofi and Ama in that village, who is suffering and do not have access to health care, until those people and those communities get access to quality health care with, professional health professionals.
Aquatin, and you know here we bring you nothing but the best in the world of sports. We are covering all the action, both local and international. Today, this morning, I've been joined here by one of our favorites, guests. We have James Benate with me today. James, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm up and grateful.
Great. I mean, there's a tag for most of the guys around here,
sure,
up and grateful.
Yeah.
We believe in the supremacy of God, so we're always grateful. Yeah, so James, today on the Sports Update segment, today I have you with me. So, I mean, we want viewers to know that today is going to be very interactive. Today is going to be very, engaging, because we are going to talk about sports. We are doing diverse fields of sports. So today, stay tuned with us. Enjoy the game with us. So James, let's just talk about in generality, how's the weekend been for you when it comes to sports?
Okay, so thank you. It has been so great. I mean, over the weekend, Chelsea won. That's one thing. So we've won 3 games in a row, and I'm very happy. In as much as I don't really like our coach, and then on Sunday I went to the Accra Sports Stadium to watch the Black Princesses against South Africa in the World Cup qualifiers, which we played 2-2 draw. I mean, it was a good game. They did very well. The ladies did very well in the first half, and we could have scored 3-4 goals in the first half because the South Africans were not in the game at all. But in the second half, I mean, we couldn't utilize our chances in the first half. In the second half, the South African came in very strongly, and we drew 2-2. We are just hoping that when we go to South Africa, we can qualify from there. And Manchester United winning 4 matches in a row.
Yes. So Wednesday, that is tomorrow, I think they have a game against West Ham United. Sure. So hopefully they can win 5 games in a row.
I was telling our producer that, I mean, they might lose
against West Ham.
That's how I see it. Someone might say West Ham is not really doing well, and so it will be just a walk away for Manchester United. But then you see, we are getting to the end of the season, and everybody, those that are down, they will be willing to. I mean, they will be energized to, spoil things for those who are up there. So,
of course.
But then, Manchester United, they are really doing well. I mean, when you have a coach that is giving you that free role to play and to show your skill, you always go in to do your best. So I think they're on course. Chelsea won, as I said earlier on, and then Liverpool lost against Manchester City.
That was a very controversial game because Liverpool started by leading a goal to 0, and then City coming back to score, equalize, and then ultimately scoring a decider. I think that was one of the games that I enjoyed the most over the weekend.
Of course.
Where most of the Arsenal fans, per the table, they wanted Liverpool to win the game or for the game to end up in a draw. But unfortunately, Liverpool couldn't hold up to the end of their back game. And I think you spoke about the Black Princesses playing against South Africa. I think I had a controversy. I watched the game a bit, but there are other games to focus on, so I didn't really stay to the end. But then I learned there was a controversy where we scored a final goal in that minute where they recorded it as an offside. And I just wanted to pick your sense on it. Do you think it was an offside?
To be very honest, those who were watching on telly will be the best people to answer this question. I was not privy to replay when I was at the stadium, though, but the concentration wasn't there at that moment. So what I could see was they were screaming, and I saw the line 2 raising the flag. So, but then you see, when Azuma Nelson always says he goes to the ring with his own referee. Okay, the first half, we could have scored about 4 or 5 goals because in the first half, the South Africans were in the game. They were not. I was watching with one lady, and she was like, And then I said, South Africa for one. It's like, so it should have. We should have won. We should have won the game in the first half. But then we sat down,
Anyway, that is
chances and stuff, and
that is football. That is football. Anything can happen at any time. You know, sometimes you can play very well and then things will just turn around by just one chance or two chances. But then, James, let us enough with the surrounding stories. Let us go straight to our main stories for the day. So we have our first story, that is Otu Support. So that is the coach of the Black Stars, Otu Support. He has GFA boasts Black Stars bench with 5 new appointments for 2026 World Cup. So according to the reports we are having, Otuado has introduced 5 new supporting staff to come and support their team with regards to the World Cup that we are about to play. What do you think? What do you think? So far,
it's good, and the 5 is not even enough. I think we need more. We need more. I quite remember when Koko was playing in Confederation Cup against WAC of Morocco here at the Accra Sports Stadium, and I went to cover one of their training, WAC's training, final training session, and the backroom staff, they were about 31. Oh. And this is the biggest football festival in the world, which is the World Cup. And in 2022, we all saw what happened. I mean, we didn't do too well at the World Cup, and we need to add more personalities to the backroom staff. So I think it's good and it's in the right direction. I think we still have to add 1 or 2 to it to make.
Okay, so let me just go through the members, the team members that have been added quickly. So we have Alain Rivera. He's an assistant coach. We have Kimilas Boykerjan. Sorry, I'm not able to mention this guy's name, but we know him already. Yeah. He's the head coach for the women's
Black
team.
Queens,
Black Queens. And we have Jose Daniel Martinez Alfonso, who is an assistant coach and a video analyst. And then we have Carlos Lozano Romero. He's a team physiotherapist. And we have our very own. He's a Ghanaian and British born. He's Dwayne Piasa Kwesi. He's a performance coach. So these are the 5 members that have been added to the team. So far we have so far they add up to 18-member technical team for the 2026 World Cup. And like you're saying, the 18 is not quite enough.
Yeah,
we've seen teams with 31, so we need more.
And even
but then
with Arsenal, you see Arsenal and some clubs now are throwing coach. I mean, set pieces coach.
Yeah, so coaches that will train
see
players
the impact when it comes to their
on
games.
on different levels.
We should really add up again.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's move on to our next story. So this is a local story. So it has to do with the MTN FA Cup. That is a round of 16. Kotoko facing the Stern Eduana test. So yes, this game has been played already. Kotoko faced Eduana Stars, and then I think Kotoko lost by a goal to 0.
No penalties. They lost.
They went to penalties, and then Kotoko lost.
Afterwards, their coach resigned, and I really have to say this. You see, Cristiano Ronaldo is earning around £488,000 a day. And he's 41 years and he's still pushing for more. Okay, so some of our players will be playing in the lower clubs and they will be earning around 500, 600, and they will be playing very well, and they will get the opportunity to play for Accra, Suffolk, and Kumasi, Asante, Kotoko, and they'll be getting around 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, and they think that is all.
That is all.
Their performances is very, very shambolic, and it's not going well. You go to the Accra Sports Stadium you go to Baba Sports Stadium to watch Kotoko, to watch Haas, and you will not even get any impact from there. So I think the players should be, up and doing. It is not every time that the coaches will be at fault, the coaches are the problem and all those things. And I think the clubs today, when they are bringing up the contracts to the players, they should add some performing clause to the contract. Because you watch some players when they are playing for the smaller clubs, their performances
very well,
and they come to the bigger clubs and they are earning some amount of money above what they were earning at the lower clubs, and they are not performing. It's very bad. and always we push it to the coaches. You end. But then, Adriana is doing very well.
They are playing very well. That is what I wanted to come to. It's not as if Adriana is just a mere a lousy team. They are playing very well.
And they are competing. I mean,
they are competing at a high level.
I mean, I listened to him before the game against Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and he was telling the players that they are better than the Kumasi Asante Kotoko players. So they should just go in and do their best. They have experienced players, and they are really, really doing well. They are
so you see the kind of motivation that some players and all that. But then, you see, let's not... Coach Karim Zito, he's been tried and tested.
Of course.
We can all attest to the fact that this gentleman is actually very good with what he does and all that. Unfortunately, with the fact that some players decided to be lousy, miss chances, play softly than they used to play, it just gets to affect the coaches. I'm surprised he had to resign because, yes, he lost 3-1 against Heart of Lions.
Let's go to his days at Dreams FC.
Yeah.
He took them to the Confederation Cup, to the semi-final.
Look
at the caliber of players.
The players he had, and still. Yes.
So, and look at the caliber of players that
Kotoko has now.
And he's a good coach. I listened to his comments. I mean, maybe the videographer was just taking it, but then when they played against Heart of Lions in Pando, he was having some chat with the coach of Heart of Lions, and he was like, Charlie, my bread. Like, you see, sometimes the coaches will be pushing. I've played before.
They are doing their best.
And the coaches will be pushing by some of the players, and you have to bear it in mind that is the job you've taken upon yourself. That is the job. Somebody wakes up in the morning, he goes to the office, will become a caller and all those things. This is what you want to do. And football, the football career is very short.
Yeah.
It's very short. And I always say that you shouldn't be deceived of your age. We all know some of the players reduce their age because of certain things. So if you think you are 25 now, which is your football age or whatever age it is, you think, you are still young. I mean, you are lying to
yourself. Yeah. James, let's move on to our next story. We don't have a lot of time on our hands. So yes, my next story has to do with BVB. So Borussia Dortmund, a team, one of the bigger teams in Germany, in Europe. So they've launched their first African academy in Ghana. So this is actually good news for the country and of course to the young footballers coming up, those interested in sports and all that. So Borussia Dortmund they've launched their first African academy in Ghana. And I think this is actually a good thing for us, a good thing for the nation, and then to, of course, the sports nation all together. I like the fact that they are taking time to invest in sport. If you look at some of the teams that are doing very well in Europe, I mean, when you talk about a team like Barcelona, they have financial crisis now. Yeah. It's not giving them the opportunity to buy players, but they are still performing very well. Yeah. Why? Because they are able to pick players from their academy and then incorporate them into the senior men's team where they are able to adapt and play and compete on higher levels. So I think this is actually good, except for the fact that they are not concentrating in just Europe. They are not concentrating in just Germany. They've extended their shores to Africa. Yeah. And in Africa, we are talking about West Africa, Ghana, and it's going to put us on the map. It's going to elevate the country very well because, I mean, that Ghana is actually one of the best football nations in Africa and, of course, in the world. In the world. So we know we have the likes of, so they have legends like Otuado who played with them. And, of course, I think one other player, I've forgotten his name. I think it will come. So they've actually experienced Ghanaian footballers. And of course, they've seen other Ghanaian footballers in Europe. They faced teams with Ghanaian footballers in Europe. So they actually know that we have the men, we have the capability, we have the people who can play and then perform very well. So I think this is also good for the country.
So it started some few years ago. So they did this in collaboration with Accra Shooting Stars. They are playing in the Greater Accra Division 2 League. They are in Zone 3 in the 5th position. So it was basically those times earlier in the year.
I think before COVID, it was a conversation between the CEO of Accra Shooting Stars and then the directors
their
of
players have
Dortmund.
been going there after every season for trials, but it was low key. So just recently that they decided to collaborate with them too. And it's good. It's good for us. We need more academies here in Ghana. Right to Dream is doing very, very, very well, and so we need
Right to Dream is
they are doing very, very well. So we are still encouraging the other European clubs to come and establish more academies here because there are a lot of talent here.
I think so the name is Ibrahim Tanko. Thank you for reminding me. So Ibrahim Tanko, and he is the ambassador for the organization now. So he served as a midfielder back in Borussia Dortmund, and he's a Black Stars legend. So he's serving as an ambassador for the academy. And he made a comment. He says that bringing the BVB philosophy to Ghana is something very special. This country has incredible talent and passion, and this academy will help young players develop the mindset and discipline needed to succeed. So yes, of course, he can attest to how disciplined the team Borussia Dortmund is, and then the impact it will have on our country, Ghana.
It is in 2 sessions, okay? So we have pay per play, which is going for 1,500 euros to 2,500 euros, and then the free aspect of it that maybe you can come and they'll open trials for everybody.
Everyone to come and
justify.
I think it's between the age of 8 years to 18.
18
years. So that is the age range. I beg you, viewers, if you have a kid who is very much interested in sport and would like to play someday, that is all right. But then the age is very important. Don't go and alter the age of your kids, hoping to create avenues for them to play. Yes, you would want. The passion is there. They can go for trials. That is all right. If they are good, if the boy or the lady, the girl is good, they can actually, there is a way to even get you to a bigger team, a better team, other than this academy. So let's do the right thing. Let's enjoy football. Let's enjoy the game. Let me move on to our next story. Time is not on our side. So our next story, like I say always, Clock Sports. We Clock TV Sports Update segment will bring you diversity when it comes to sports. So today we are talking about the Super Bowl that happened last Sunday. So yes, the Super Bowl it's a game, it's American football that happened between the Seahawks and then the Patriots. So it happened on Sunday where the Seahawks dominated the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. So that is the headline, that is the pictures we are seeing. So I'm sure a lot of people, just a few people. So I have friends who are very much interested in the Super Bowl, who are always waiting to witness the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl is more like the final. So it's more like when it comes to football, we are playing the World Cup finals. But this one is much more larger, much more bigger, much more inclusive, and it's in local terms. Our local people, our local parents will be like, but this is not Pipragro. This is actually American football, where it has to do with players throwing the ball to each other on the same team and having a touchdown. So it's quite, very, heavy. Let me use the word heavy. Very engaging. If you're not careful, you can get hit. But then the players are always in protective gears. The players are always, very careful. Yes, you have to be very fast, very swift, very strong. When you see the players engage in the Super Bowl, you understand what it means by, you have to be very strong and very fast. And you have to have very strong arms because you'll be throwing the balls around and all that. So two of the NFL's strongest defenses, that is the Seahawks and the Patriots, they battled out. So when you are talking about NFL, the teams with the strongest defensive teams, these are the teams, the Seahawks and then the Patriots. They have very strong defensive teams. But then in this game, it's not just about defense. You have to be able to win by scoring goals, having touchdowns. So it ended by the Seahawks winning by 29-13. Yes, a lot of goals. People don't really understand how it works. I'll speak to my producer and then we'll find a day to explain how this kind of sports really, it is. Break it down to people. But then, so the Seahawks won by 29-13. at the Levi Stadium in the United States of America, where it had a lot of people, witnessing, millions of people. There was a break. So when it comes to football, during halftime, it's just a 15 minutes break where the players have to just relax, stretch their legs and all that. But with Super Bowl, because of how engaging and how fierce it can get and all that, the players you wait for about almost 30 minutes where there is a full performance. So there was this Spaniard performance called Bad Bunny, who came to perform. There's a lot of controversies around the performances he had because he's a Spanish who came to perform in the United States of America. Yes, of course, we have about 41 million Spanish-speaking people in USA, but then we have about 310 million people who also don't speak Spanish at all. So there's a lot of controversies with this performance, but then that's it for another day. I think I'm sure the lifestyle segment or the entertainment segment will touch on things like this. So this is one of the things that happened over the weekend. It was quite interesting. I was watching the game. I was very thrilled because when you are watching it and you see how things are happening, you want to ask yourself, do these people have families? Can't anything happen? I mean, how they hit themselves, you catch the ball, and before you realize someone is flying from somewhere, coming straight at you and all that. But then, that's NFL for you. It's quite interesting. And then it was nice. This is a comment by the head coach. That's Mike McDonald of Seahawks. He says, "We were the better team. We are the best team. We love each other. We believe in each other, and now we are champions." So this is the second trophy since in the NFL history they won. The first trophy was in 2014, where they won their first trophy, and then of course they won again. So there were about 70,000 people around, and then it was interesting. I'm glad I was able to witness this, even though I didn't witness in person, but I was able to watch this and enjoy the game. So yes, James Benatai, thank you very much for being with us. One last thing. So our very own Cristiano Ronaldo, I heard there was an issue with him and his team, Al Nassr, back in Saudi Arabia, where he was protesting that, in Saudi Arabia, the teams are managed by the monarch. I mean, the kings. Yeah. Yes. So most of the teams are managed by them, and then they share the finances among their teams and all that. So I think there was a little of controversy. I'll touch on it. Hopefully on Thursday, we'll touch on this story. So let me just wrap up and let me just end. So thank you very much, viewers, for sticking and staying with us. Thank you very much, James Benate. We have the business segment next with Peter Insia. Thank you very much. I hope to see you on Thursday.
Hello there, good morning to you once again and welcome. This is the Business Update segment on Koko Digest Morning Show. I am Peter Nsia, and now to our stories. The Chief Executive Officer of Koko Board, Dr. Randy Abbey, says he is optimistic that the new Koko Board Act will be passed soon to introduce a new funding model for cocoa purchases and strengthen protections for cocoa farms. He explained that the proposed law is meant to modernize Ghana's cocoa regulatory framework, addressing issues such as farm protection, pricing, financing, and value addition. My colleague Priscilla filed this report.
Dr. Abbey noted that current laws mining processing license can allow access to cocoa farm, which makes it necessary to review the legal framework. He added that reforms are also needed in cocoa pricing and funding arrangements, as well as in financing structures that limit local processing and value addition. According to him, the drafting of the new Cocoa Board Act has begun and is being fast-tracked with support from the Ministry of Finance, and he hopes it will soon be presented to Parliament for approval.
Away from Cocoa Board, let's now move to Treasury Bill. Treasury Bill yields dropped sharply at first auction in February, driven by strong investor demand and high liquidity in the market. Investors submitted bids worth 17.2 billion Ghana cedis, far above the government's 4.9 billion Ghana cedis target, while 5.8 billion Ghana cedis was accepted.
The 306-day bill continued to attract the most interest, followed by 91-day and 182-day bills. Yields fell across all tenors, with the 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day rates all declining compared to previous week. Analysts say the drop in yields is due to excess liquidity in the system and strong appetite for government securities. They expect investors to keep participating, though funds could shift to stocks and other investments in returns fall too low. The government has increased its next auction target to 6.42 billion Ghana cedis, showing it will continue borrowing from the domestic market in short term.
And now on to our last story. Spare parts dealers at Abossey Okai have criticized Ghana's VAT system, VAT, saying it is hurting their business and could lead to a strike. The Abossey Okai Spare Parts Dealers Association says the VAT rate on spare parts has effectively risen from 4% to about 20%, pushing prices up and making goods less affordable for customers.
They argue that the policy creates unfair competition, as some dealers must charge VAT while others below the registration threshold do not, forcing VAT-registered dealers to sell at higher prices. The group says this is pushing customers toward informal sellers and discouraging business growth, while supporting efforts to expand the tax base. The dealers say the current VAT structure is not sustainable and have asked the government to reduce the rate or introduce a simplified flat tax system. They warn that failure to review the policy could result in a one-week strike.
Let's now turn our attention to the currency market and gold coin. That's all we have for you on the Business Update segment. Like 1 minute.
Hey, listen small. Yes, okay. Listen.
Hi.
Listen. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, hold on. Please, can you talk in the microphone?
Okay.
You want to just
Hello. Hi. Good morning. Is it okay? Or I should?
Yeah, she said it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we can. Peter. Peter, hurry.
Relax now.
I want your hand to come inside. Won't your hand come inside?
Because they are not only meant for celebrations and then weddings. Your husband deserves it too. This year, we are going to be more intentional about our marriages and relationships. Thank you.
A very good morning and welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. This is Lifestyle Segment and my name is Bevelyn Annabelle JBia. Today we are talking about something many people, carry in their heart, but rarely say it out loud there. There's this social narrative that women especially live with, that once you get married, everything will fall in place. That once you get married, your life will finally change for the better. But then I ask myself, is marriage meant to be a kind of like a rescue mission? If so, do they communicate that to their partners before entering the marriage? Now, this goes a long way to, shape how we enter relationships and even see the marriages ahead. Today's topic is unspoken expectations before marriage, the silent hopes, the assumptions, the beliefs people carry into their marriage without clearly, talking about them. And the truth is, when expectations, remain unspoken, they often turn into disappointment, pressure, or even frustration. So marriage has, evolved and changed over the years. In the past, marriages was mainly about survival, family, duties, clearly defined roles. People knew what they're about. People knew who cooked, who provided, who led, who followed. But today, marriage is different. It's about love. It's about friendship. It's about emotional support, personal fulfillment. Let me add again, emotional support. Now, these are all, very important things, but it means that people expect more emotionally from their partners than ever before. And to help all of us and understand better, I'm joined here by Mrs. Irama Safwa Asante. She will be helping us, explore some of these expectations and where they come from, how they affect relationship, and how couples can talk about them in a very healthy way. Madam, yeah, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much.
You look so pretty.
Thank you. I consider the same for you as well.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's an honor for me to be here.
All right.
So I was expecting you to serve me Koko, because this is Koko Digest.
Don't worry. After the show, we'll get you some cocoa. This one is not going to be morning cocoa. Afternoon cocoa.
No, you see, right? I like the way you expressed sheer disappointment, because it's an expectation I was having of you. So it takes us right into the topic.
I crossed my heart. I'm so sorry.
Unspoken expectations. That's why we are here today.
Okay, yeah.
And then expectations in itself, I wouldn't say they are bad. Because in order for us to be able to live in society, and then to hold each other accountable, we need to have expectations of ourselves. You need to know that this is what I'm expecting from you.
Yeah.
I also need to know that this is what you're also expecting from me, so that we can be able to meet at the various crossroads for any form of relationship to be successful. That is needed. It only becomes harmful when it is unspoken.
Exactly.
That is so.
Exactly.
So
it's like you've already started. You've already said the tone, guys.
Because you started it.
We'd like to know, we've spoken about unspoken, expectations.
Yeah.
Where does some of these unspoken expectations come from? Is it from society? Is it from like friends? Is it the pressure? Where does this, expectations come from?
Okay. So, as humans, the moment you are born into a society.
Yeah.
That is where your orientation starts as an individual. You go to schools, you get to see your parents live in your home. For those of us who are fortunate to come from backgrounds with two parents, you see how their marriage is going. So that forms part of the expectations that you hope to see in future when you get a partner that you want to settle with. So expectations come from the various intersectionalities. We have religion, we have tradition, we have society. Even our past relationships form a very critical part of these expectations that we want to see from our partners. We want our partners to be able to meet, which I said earlier that they are very good, but it only becomes harmful when it is unspoken. You don't ever talk about it, expecting that your partner gets to know about it. But you should bear in mind that we are very different people from different upbringings. The people who raised me, I grew up in Tema. You might have grown up in maybe Achimota or any part of Ghana. So the upbringing and then the orientation I had growing up is going to be very different from you. An individual who grew up through boarding schools is going to have a very different perspective when it comes to life, relationship, and then everything. But when you get to live right from home, seeing your parents every day, encounter each other, interact with each other, you are going to become, those are the people that go into relationships and then people say they are too clingy, because their parents were always interacting with each other. But then I might have grown up from boarding schools, so I was always not going to see my parents interacting with each other. I'm going to be able to, more like I'm going to be dependent.
Exactly.
I'm not going to be very clingy on my partner. So when I meet someone and then I don't talk about this thing, then it becomes a problem. Because for all I know, my partner is expecting his significant other to be very clingy.
Yeah.
But then me coming across as dependent is going to be a threat to that relationship. So that is where the controversy comes in and then the conflict sets in.
Right. Miss Mrs. Irama, sorry, we would like to know, comparing the past, marriages to now, do you think the expectations or the unspoken, the expectations are more compared to, the past marriages?
I can agree to disagree. Because in the past, we were not born in that era, but from the little we got to see and then the little we are hearing these days on social media, I think we can really speak to it, because in the past, they were really centered around traditional rules, traditional duties. Women were just expected to be carers of the home. Natural nurturers. They are supposed to raise the children, make sure that the home is in a good place, and then everything. And then men were also projected to just be the providers, the financial providers of the home. But in today's marriage, I come into the marriage, I'm a full-time, I work a 9 to 5, my husband works a 9 to 5. And then we say that we want to have a very egalitarian marriages where we are all equal. We are supposed to be equal in the marriage, like it's supposed to be a 50-50 affair. But then you come down to it and then you are realizing that people say on the surface that they want equal marriages. Like that. But that is not it. They want the 50-50, but they still want women to be ascribing to their traditional roles. When it gets critical, people are hiding behind the cloaks of traditionality and then religion to make excuses for their inexcusable behaviors. Because at the end of the day, if we want 50-50, if we want egalitarian marriages, we have to be able to talk about it. We know how the contributions are going to go in the home. We know who is taking care of what. We know what this partner is bringing to the table. I know that in times of this that I can rely on my partner to do this. But I don't expect us to have a 50-50 relationship and then you still expect that I'm going to be bearing the weight of the home all on my shoulder. That is where the partner needs to set in. I don't know if like that answers your question.
Exactly. We'll look at there are so many expectations. I mean, there are people that in their homes probably they were treated with care. They saw their parents treat them right. They took care of their family. They took care of them so well. Such a person entering into a marriage, what would be the person's expectation of the husband? Is that going to put like the pressure on probably the husband is a businessman, a very busy person, who will not even get time to care for the wife.
Where care means what exactly?
Care, we're talking about every aspect of it, like
excluding finances.
It's inclusive.
It's inclusive. Then that is debatable, because at the end of the day, if you are married to a businessman, you should know that I think the bedrock of all this centers around communication.
Yeah.
You should be able to talk. I didn't want to go into the literatures, but a study that was conducted by Hackman et al. In 2010, they published it in 2010. They conducted this study based on 210 couples. That was the survey was based on 210 couples. And then the findings of the study shows that any marriage that sets off with a very negative bedrock of communication is just going to get to ruins. Within the first 5 years, that is the most critical stage of any marriage.
So what's up with the perception that when we get married, everything is going to be fine?
That is a perception.
People have that once I get married, I'm sure this partner is going to change. No. Probably in the time of the courtship or getting to know the spouse, they be like, oh, immediately we get married, oh, this guy is going to change. Oh, this I know him, or better. But you realize that you get into the marriage and things are not changing, things are the same. And that is where, you know, the frustration sets in.
Okay, that is where I'm going to play the devil's advocate and say that it is something that we like to tell ourselves to be able to sleep at night. If I know that I'm in a relationship with a cheating partner, and then I think that I love him enough to want to get married to him, the only thing I'm going to be able to console myself with is that, oh, the moment we get married, he is going to stop. That is what the elders like to do. Like, the man beats you, but he is able to take care of you. The first question, when you go and report such a case, the first thing that they're going to ask you is, does he take care of you? Does he meet all your financial needs? Oh, then pray for him, he's going to change. No, it's a myth. It is not true. It is so far from the truth. Whatever you see in a partner today can be amplified up to 10%, up to 10 times when you get married to the person. So if he doesn't call you now, trust me, the moment you get married, you don't stay with a person and then he's not calling you. And then you expect that the moment you are sleeping and waking up on the same bed with him, he's going to leave home and then still be calling you. No, because he's going to assume that he's already seen you in the morning. You are already fine. Exactly. So why the follow-up call? And then moreover, he's going to meet you at home. So there is no need for the call. So whatever habits that you entertain in the early marriage, in the early phases of your courtship and then your dating, is only going to get amplified when you get married. Inshallah, when you get married someday, it's only going to intensify.
Inshallah, we heard from Ms. Irama, and please, you can send us your messages across. You can join the conversation so that we make this a success. But Ms. Irama, what are some of the? You can just go with Irama. Let's go with Irama. Yes. What are some of the things people are not prepared for when it comes to marriage?
Okay, the finances. The financial.
That's burden. A major.
Yes.
Okay.
If I have to switch tongue, there is a tree adage that goes like "Sagobe da ifria nopa, sesika wofia akole nsuwa nopa." So people are going to say that women these days are too money centered, but trust me.
Some people go ahead to even say they are gold diggers.
Look, when a man gets a good marriage, glory be to God. The same way a woman would also pray for a good marriage, glory be to God. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Because trust me, we can't get married and then within the first phase of our marriage life, where we are supposed to be in the honeymoon phase, according to research, then we are having to think about who is footing which bill. We are looking into the debts that we are already accruing into the marriage. So the better for us, when we get our finances straight, let's have crucial conversations about our finances. That is a huge stepping stone for us in determining how the marriage is going to go. I keep mentioning communication because once you don't talk about it, once you don't speak about it, it is unspoken. I do not know what you expect of me financially. If I know that my partner wants us to be, okay, we have to be able to be going on cruises. We have to be able to be going on vacations in 10 years' time. Then it sets the tone for us. Okay, are we going to be able to pick up insurances that we are going to contribute to monthly that are going to be able to help us ensure we achieve that lifestyle in 10 years? But we don't say it. I don't know of your financial status because when we follow the traditional, those who like to hide behind the cloaks of tradition, they will tell you, you don't have to let your wife know your salary. That is a huge lie. That is a huge basis for conflict in your marriage. For those who are big earners, you don't necessarily have to disclose all of the amount to her, but you can have a stepping stone. So, for instance, if you declare to your wife that, or your spouse, that maybe I earn around 15,000 cedis a month, that is enough for us to do calculations and then workings around. I know that a month, basically, maybe my partner is going to be able to contribute about, no, let me come down, maybe 5,000 cedis a month. Okay, so now we are going to save this amount. If we are going to open a joint account, then this is the amount I'm contributing into the joint account. Maybe 500 cedis a month. You are coming in 500 cedis a month. Out of that 1,000, we are doing insurance policies that is going to be able to afford us the lifestyle we wish to live in the future.
But the issue here is that I feel like people don't it's like they expect it, but they don't want to talk about it.
That is it. So let's talk about it.
How are they going to, initiate? Because there are some of these things that probably might anger a partner.
That is our fear. That is why, because we think that there are too much of uncomfortable topics for us to talk about.
Yeah.
For the moment I raise this topic, he's going to be angry. He wouldn't want to marry me. Or the man is going to say that if I disclose this debt that I have to the woman, she's going to run away. She wouldn't want to marry a man who is starting life with debt. But if we really want to get married to the person, and then it is bad for you to start any partnership, whether it is marriage, whether it is friendship, with lies, with deceit. Rather you tell me so I am abreast with the situation that I'm getting myself into than for me to come and fall into it blindly. So they might be uncomfortable, but there are ways around it. If you think that you are not going to be able to have that conversation alone with a person, then you can introduce a counselor. I know for Christians, they go to marriage counseling for about 6 months before they get married. Yes. So you can introduce a counselor. You can introduce maybe any revered person that you think that both couples respect to mediate the process for you. So you ask and then you're able to have, because it is very important. As trivial as people have conflict over, as basic as you picking the surname of your husband.
Yeah.
And then I don't know that it is very important to you that I'm supposed to use your surname because we never spoke about it. So I don't think that I wouldn't even think that it is very important to your partner. So we get married and I'm still clinging on to my maiden name, thinking that switching surnames is not supposed to be such a big deal. It's not supposed to determine a marriage. But then the man holds it in high esteem.
People take it very seriously.
I know a couple that it caused a divorce for them because the lady was like, she's the only daughter of her father. And then her father is dead. And then we never spoke about me switching my maiden name to use. It wasn't a deal breaker for you. So why is it suddenly on the table? You might think it is very trivial, but it is way important to one person because for all you know, his upbringing, his orientation says different from what you believe in. So that is it. So we need to talk about it.
Exactly. And there are times where people get married and they expect their lifestyle to remain the same. So like their routines and how they go about their freedom. When you are single, it's different. But
marriage is supposed to be a bondage.
I know. But then when you are single, you have this kind of freedom. You don't even have to go and ask somebody. You not ask your parents, but then you are not even, have that kind of grace.
In fact, I hear married women saying they miss that lifestyle sometimes, but I think it's inevitable.
So is it okay to, take that same lifestyle to marriage?
I think it doesn't help in any way.
Okay.
Because the moment you agree that you want to do life with someone, being male or female, if a man decides that he's gotten to a point in life where he's old enough, he's matured enough to have a wife, and then if a woman decides that, okay, she's ready to commit to a man aside her parents, then you shouldn't want to still be in total control. You have to be in control of your life, but you still need to talk with that individual. For instance, your social life can remain the same. It can remain the same. No one is saying different because marriage is not bondage. You have to find true friendship in the person that you are married to. You have to be able to align emotionally and then on the phases of friendship as well. So I have friends. You had friends before you got married. Then now we are married. Doesn't mean that you have to discard your friends and then in social life or because you have a husband now or you have a wife now. It is not even fair on your partner. You just have to navigate around it. You know that if you plan outings and then dates with your friends, it has to be in the known of your partner.
Okay. So you have to set kind of clear boundaries.
Boundaries have to be set. Else the marriage is going to be a failure right from the word go. So you have to set boundaries. You always have to make sure that you are on the same page with your partner. For instance, as a bachelor, you can stay out all through the night till maybe 1 a.m. But now if you want to stay out till 1 a.m., that is fine so long as your partner is in agreement with you. If your partner says, oh, it is okay because who knows, the conversation between the two of you is different. You are the only people who understand you. So if your partner understands that, oh, it is important, or maybe my husband thinks that staying till this time of the night is okay, and then I understand and I agree with him, then it shouldn't be a problem. The problem gets in when I just plan dates, I plan outings, and then I do not tell my partner. The only time I tell him is, please, I'm going here. Or the only time I tell my wife is, I'm going here, I'll be back soon. Then it becomes a problem because you are planning a whole different life outside without your partner. And then she's not even aware of it. That is when it becomes bad. But having social lives is clearly fine. It's totally fine. We just need to make sure that we are communicating and we are setting boundaries. That is so.
Right. But is it right for, your partner to make you her main friend or best friend in marriages?
That is good. Those who are able to make friendship in marriage is very important. But those who are able to turn their partners into their best friends, it is the best forms that you can get, because we gossip with best friends a lot. You gossip with your partner, nobody's going to hear it.
Exactly. Except the person has okromaf, of course.
Your partner goes to spill gossip that you shared with him or her outside.
There are situations like that in public, especially when it comes to the extended family, which is what we are going to move on to the next topic. You realize that you don't set that kind of boundary when it comes to your extended family.
Okay.
You talk to your spouse, or you talk to your husband, or you talk to your wife. The next few minutes, you've heard it from your in-laws.
Then the person doesn't understand the very doctrines that
surround marriage. So is it right for spouse to talk about some of these things, like set the boundary right?
We need to talk about how many hours a day, if your parents are maybe live in proximity to where we live, how many times they are going to be visiting us, how long they are going to be staying. It needs to be hard. I can't be in the house and then all of a sudden my in-law is springing up on me, all because I am married to his son, or my parents think that I am married to someone, so it is okay for them to, because their daughter lives in that house.
But then
no.
There's also a saying that when you get married to someone, you get married to his entire family.
But not when they are, not when boundaries, they are crossing boundaries.
Mm-hmm. You have to set to them.
Your privacy is your privacy. You determine who enters your home.
Right.
We can agree that, fine, your parents can visit, your siblings can come and stay, but we need to talk about it. I don't have to be ambushed. Mm-hmm. That is it. So if I have a conversation with my partner and then he goes behind my back to go and tell his family about it, that partner is not trustworthy. He or she doesn't even understand the doctrines of marriage in the first place. Unless, of course, there was a go-ahead somewhere in that conversation that said, it is okay for you to tell another person, or it is okay for you to share with your family, or it is okay for you to go and ask or tell the individual we are having the conversation about.
Right.
Are we clear on that? Yes.
So now let's look at the part where, most of us grew up in family houses.
Of course.
It's these days that we are adapting to the nuclear family, where you have your spouse and your children and all of that. Even with
that is a nuclear family system, not
that's
extended.
A nuclear family. I feel like a lot of people are adapting to the new, the new way.
But not forsaking the extended family.
But not forsaking them. So there are times where you hear people, especially women, who say, "Oh, I don't like this. Your mother keeps intruding how I train my kids and all of that." Sometimes it's very, very disturbing.
Because perhaps they've not even talked about how they expect these things to go.
Right. So somebody who finds herself or himself in such a marriage, right now the person has already gotten him or herself into it. So what advice will you give to someone?
You need to have
the same issue?
You need to have the most difficult conversation with your spouse, because for all you know, in the early phases of the relationship or the marriage, you were silent about it. So the other person thought it was okay by you. Perhaps when his mother was coming to visit, they came unannounced, or they informed their son, but their son failed. I keep using their son because we are in the Ghanaian society. That is what mostly happens. It's not like I'm being gender partial or something, because mostly it is the relatives of the men that tend to do this often. So anytime your mother-in-law is visiting, she informs her son, but her son fails to communicate it to you. And then, in a bid to be a very good wife, you keep quiet about it. Now, your partner assumed you were okay with it. So it is going to become a pattern.
Yeah.
Because you fail to talk about it. And then many women often get confused when we say they should talk about it. I can talk about something with you, but the tone that I am going to use is going to determine how you are going to take it.
Yeah.
If I come in here and I'm like, you see the way I asked you, I was expecting you to serve me Koko this morning. And then we laughed about it.
Yeah.
Another person is going to come in, Beverly, I was expecting you to serve me Koko this morning. Then it becomes something else. I'm going to feel disrespected. I am going to feel very violated because I didn't like the tone, I didn't like the accent you used to me.
It will look like you were feeling kind of entitled. To
like you are becoming overbearing.
Yeah.
But my mother-in-law comes by unexpected. She comes to visit. And then even for me, I'm going to talk with you, my mother-in-law, not even my husband. That is it. You can make very partial jokes like, hey, mama, so then it sends a signal to her. She's going to laugh over it in that very moment. But next time when she pauses to sit and then reflect, she's going to know that, this girl was trying to tell me something. So next time when she's coming, she's going to even give you a call and tell you, oh, Erama me bow, and then me ba, me pay anyway. Now you've changed the narrative.
Yeah.
You've taken matters into your own hands. You've been submissive in either ways, and then you've still been able to do your job. You've been able to fulfill your duties as a wife without setting in conflict or ensuring that people are going to disagree or whatever. But you go to your husband and then you tell him, now when your mother is coming, doesn't she know that she has to give a call? You are causing tensions between the two of them. Because of the way you said it and in the manner in which you delivered whatever message that you wanted to send across. That is why we keep centering on communication.
Yeah.
Communication. Exactly. Communication is not just about talking. Even your mannerisms when you are saying whatever it is that you want to say. However posture that you are going to assume. If I'm talking to you and then I'm like this, it means you can just say whatever rubbish you want to say and then just go on with it. I'm not interested. Yeah. But you go with a very open personality so that the person can also accept whatever thing you want to. Even the most hardest conversations can be taken down calmly. That is it. So they need to have those conversations. If you think it is so difficult for you to have, send it through somebody that your husband or your partner reveres. Whether it is their parent, their sister, a counselor, whoever it is that they hold in high esteem, let them help you have those conversations on your behalf. That
right. So we have a question here, and this is from from Achimota, and Ya's asking, how can people communicate their expectations without sounding demanding? People feel like they're entitled, even when it comes to our parents, like, because you feel like they give birth to you, like when you're asking for something, you don't even think whether, you just have it in mind that they're responsible for you. How do we ask without, sounding entitled or,
This is a tough one. But I always say that the things that we expect from our parents, we can't expect those things from other people. Because like you mentioned, they gave birth to you. So they are responsible for you. But on the other hand, when two people decide that they want to take their intimate relationship beyond the relationship phase and then get into marriage, they become responsible for each other.
Okay.
My parents are responsible for me, but I am not responsible for them. It is not compulsory.
That's it in marriage. It's not compulsory.
No, I'm talking of your parents.
All right.
So I'm trying to let you know the fine line that lies between how entitled you can be when it comes to your parents and then how you cannot go and be entitled when it comes to your partner. There are certain things you can be entitled when it comes to your partner because the moment he marries you, he's supposed to show you love. He's supposed to show you care. That you can be entitled for.
Right.
You can demand it from him or her. But when it comes to certain things like their finances, and then some other areas like helping in house chores and then all those things, we know that it's a partnership, especially in modern day marriages. We know that it's a partnership. When your spouse comes back from work and then you are not in, maybe he can take it upon himself to make sure that dinner is ready or place an order if he cannot cook. But when you come back from work and then there is no food on the table, that doesn't mean you go and demand food from him. there's a way you need to go about it.
Okay.
At the end of the day, the person is even going to feel like he or she did you wrong by not making sure. It is like your husband not having clean clothes to wear. Maybe he's not expecting you to do the washing or do the laundry. You are supposed to take it to a laundry, they do the laundry, and then you are just supposed to make sure that he always has clean clothes to wear. But when he is coming to ask you about it, maybe he's going to ask, oh, do I have any clean socks to wear? He's not going to come asking, so all you sit, you do nothing the whole day, and then I still have no clean socks to wear. There is a difference between the two. Exactly. So I always say your tonation, how you communicate whatever thing you want to send across in the first place, all those things are what sets the line between being entitled and then you asking for something. Then the person can also meet you. If you get a level-headed partner, they meet you midway, and then you have a very smooth transition.
Right. We have another question from Angela Inosu, and she's saying, please, what do you do when you had asked all these questions with your partner, but later change after marriage? You know, people understand where this question is coming from. People will have all these hard conversations, but at the end of the day, you cannot change the unchanged. People pretend like a lot. They'll pretend to, be hearing you, listening to whatever you're saying, but you enter the marriage and you realize that this wasn't what I bargained for. This wasn't what we spoke about.
I'm conflicted. How long can a person pretend? Not just, I believe that when we are having some of these conversations, we need to take into perspective that it is not only by hearing. Because if you are telling me that I was only hearing you, you needed to see some level of change or effort being put in by the person for you to have agreed to marry the person. So we were just having the conversation and then I'm nodding. But I didn't put in any step or any effort to making sure that whatever it is that we discuss, I am setting into motion. And then I still go ahead and marry you. Meaning you saw the red flag and then you ignored it.
Right.
So it's not like you got married and now he's flipped back on his. No, meaning you are just refusing to see that he's a nonchalant person. Right. That is who he is. So you had the difficult conversations with the person. Okay, I have a conversation with you, Bevelyn. I want us to start putting money together so we can actually buy this vase. Then 2 months after we had that conversation, you still not contributed a CD to the table or a CD towards the fund that we want to use to buy the vase. It is a red flag that I'm ignoring. So it will turn out that I would make the contributions all by myself, go and buy the vase, and then now when we get married, I am still coming to complain that you have reverted to your old ways. No, you never changed in the first place. That is what it is. The person never changed. It's just a nonchalant partner that you refuse to see the red flag for what it is. Perhaps you decided to see it as an orange flag. And then you decided to get married to the partner. So they are so stuck in their old ways, but they never changed. Somebody who changes never falls back on their old ways.
Interesting. We have another comment here.
Interesting.
And this is from Kofi from Nungwa. Okay. I like your discussion this morning, but for me, I think when choosing a partner, aligning your life purposes is the most crucial thing.
You couldn't have said it any better. We said it in the earlier phases of the conversation. You need to be aligned. You need to have those difficult conversations and make sure that you are aligned. Even when it comes to intimacy, the number of children that you want to have. Maybe you are coming from a huge family, so you want to have about 6 children, but I want to have just 2. So let's not get married, and then now we are debating on, I said I'm not going to give birth again. No, you must give me 2 more children. No.
Wow.
These are things that can be easily solved. Let's have those conversations. Let's align in purpose. Okay, I want to have 4 children. You want to have 2. Is there any reason why you want to have 2 children? Maybe I think that we can be more intentional towards those 2 children so that we can be more focused on them, so that we can help them achieve what we seek to achieve. Okay, I agree with you. But why don't we make it 3? Then it goes on and on. So when God is benevolent enough and then graceful enough to bless you with kids, then you decide, okay, now we are going to make healthy. Okay, so let's make it 3 instead of the 6. That is that.
So it's more or less like negotiating.
Yes.
Everything.
You need to.
Wow. Interesting. The messages keep coming, guys. I think they are loving the show.
I'm glad.
So, Equia is saying, how do you get your partner understand postpartum journey? Because most men tend to contribute financially and forget about the rest.
That is so true.
Because they feel like they're providing everything the house
Yeah,
needs.
that is so true.
Forgetting that, emotionally too, you have to think about your spouse.
I think with this person, she now has to start treating her husband as if she's now raising her son. Because, like I mentioned earlier, our expectations, the way we think, our perspectives, they are heavily shaped by our upbringing. So, for all you know, this person, her husband, grew up seeing her father not help her mother out whenever she puts to bed. So all he knows is that a man has to make sure that there is baby food, there is diaper, there is money for the hospital, there is a car for you to be able to go to the hospital, but doesn't concern himself with the process or however it is that the mood you are in, postpartum depression, and then all those things, anxiety, and then all those things. So now we all have a role to play in making sure that we are reshaping the narrative and then changing the perspectives of this, especially for those of us who are raising boys. Yeah. We don't have to make sure when you have two children in the house, you have a boy and then you have a girl. You don't always have to say that we are doing something that is feminine or you are doing a household chore and then you are calling only the girl and then leaving out the boy. So you have to you are reorienting the person in the process. You try, maybe when you are doing something, you try to tell him, oh, sweetheart, can you help me wash this bottle? Oh, darling, can you help me get the diaper over there? Yeah. So you initiate the person into the process altogether. Don't assume it that because he is not volunteering to do it, you think that maybe he is unwilling to do it. For all you know, he is not even accustomed to doing that. Exactly. So you start little by little. It might be uncomfortable, but you say, oh, baby, can you help me get the bottle over there? Can you maybe help me buy this? Yeah. It's a gradual process. In the beginning, it's not going to be easy, but you do it little by little, and then I'm sure gradually she can also... So,
Irama, I would like to know your last words. I'd like to have your last words on the show.
Okay, so I would always say this, that the basis of any relationship and then the most fruitful marriages, the basis of its bedrock is always having solid conversations, communicating with your partner. Even when you think that it is the most trivial or the most petty things that are not important, you still have to talk about it, because unspoken or unverbalized means that we've never spoken about it. So I do not expect you to hold me accountable for whatever actions that I am going to take. I do also not expect you to be disappointed or get angry. So we always need to stay talking to be able to get the marriage or relationship moving, because no matter how hurt I am, if I do not say it or convey it to you, you are not going to know. Exactly. And then you're also going to assume that I am very okay. So that I'm always going to say it. Make sure that you are always talking with your partner to be able to stay aligned and then on the same page. Marriage is a beautiful journey that we hope that some of these things are just trivial that are not supposed to result in divorce and all that. But let's get our stories right.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Siriama. That was, thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. We really appreciate it. And I hope that, today's message is not just, a simple message. Love alone is not enough.
Love can never be enough.
Love alone is not enough. And understanding is not just automatic. And expectations should never remain silent. Yeah. You talk. And if you are already married and you realize that you had so many unspoken expectations, start that conversation now. Start it today. Because healthy marriages are built. They are not assumed. So you must talk about it. You should. Now let's have some birthday messages, then we end the show.
Today was your birthday. I heard today.
Okay, so happy birthday to the man who raised me with love, discipline, and wisdom. Dad, you've taught me strength, respect, and the importance of never giving up. I'm so proud to be your daughter. May this year bring you peace, happiness, and everything your heart desires. And this is my father. Okay, guys, this is my father. Happy birthday, Mr. Annabelle. Yeah, thank you. And happy birthday, Mamaga, gorgeous. Another year of glow, grace, and greatness loading. Thank you for the laughs, the crazy memories, and the love. May this year bring you big wins, good energy, soft life, and all the happiness you can handle. Keep shining, never dim your lights. Cheers to you, superstar. And this is to Christabel. Happy birthday, Chrissy. Your kindness, strength, and heart make everything brighter. May this year bring you peace, good, success, and everything you've been praying for. You deserve the best today and always. Enjoy your special day, Queen. And we have another one from Eunice and Victoria. They say, happy birthday, dear. Wishing you another wonderful year of happiness and joy. Okay, so this is also from Eunice and Victoria. They're saying, happy birthday, Frima. Wishing you a fabulous birthday surrounded with love, joy, and all the things that make you smile. And this is from me to all the celebrants. A very happy birthday to all of you. We pray for, God's, divine strength and happiness. And so I'd like to say thank you to the production crew for always making the show, a success. Also to our cherished viewers, because we wouldn't have done this without you. Shout out to Team Swift Sip for supplying me with local drinks yesterday. I really appreciate. The Sobolo and the Lamborghini was fire. You guys can find it on my Snap as Maze_Bevin. Shout out to you. Also, Charity Fashion Home for making me look this elegant in my dress. And I am Annabelle Bevin Ejebia, and this has been Lifestyle Segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. Do have a great day.